Good evening and welcome to guess what? Welcome North Carolina for our Carolina Classic Fair Friday night rivals presented by Roan Law. Tonight, it's the host squad, North Davidson, the Black Knights. They welcome the Davie County War Eagles for a Central Piedmont matchup. We welcome you here on the field with Mark Covert. I'm Evan Budrovich. Two teams searching for their first win in 2022. So, Mark, how do these programs spark their seasons with wins tonight?
Well, it's going to start up front. The physicality has to be set in the trenches, and the team that comes out here victorious tonight is going to be the one that achieves that from the first snap all the way to the last.
When these teams met in 2019, points came aplenty, 75 combined points. So for more on tonight's matchup, we say hi to the third member of our team, Dave Gorn.
Thank you, Evan and Mark. This should be a great one. You know, high school football is all about community, and the two communities of these schools really support their teams. You can see 7,000 to 10,000 people here on a good football Friday night. And now both teams 0-2, so it might be off a little, but I can guarantee the community here in northern Davidson County will support these Black Knights, and the folks from Mocksville will come over from Davie as well. So we should have a great game here tonight. Guys?
Thanks, Dave. It's mid-80s tonight at Palmer Field. Plenty of heat at Palmer Field, and more importantly, Mark, plenty of heat coming up in this broadcast. We'll have starting lineups and players to watch when we return on our Friday Night Rivals Game of the Week. How about this intro in Welcome North Carolina? The home squad, the Black Knights, are ready for some football for our Friday Night Rivals Game of the Week. Two programs that used to be in the same conference, and now they're gearing up to battle it out for their first win of the season. Alongside Mark Covert, I'm Evan Budrovich, just a couple of minutes away from kick, Mark. And two programs that get set to go. Looks like our kicker here is almost ready to get this party started. Alex Lozier, who tees it off. These teams were trying to meet last year, couldn't get the matchup in with COVID, and here we are now in 22. Away we go, a matchup of orange and black. And let's get this party started. A short squib kick for Brian Argueta, who brings it out from his 15. And the Davie County squad starts here just at their 25-yard line. An offense that's averaged 32 points a game, Mark, and quarterback Ty Miller, he's a big piece. You see here the junior at 6'2". How does he lead this offense tonight?
Well, it's got to be really not just with his athleticism. We know he's an athletic guy, can make plays through the air and on the ground with his legs. But it's got to start from an intellectual standpoint, making right decisions and sound decisions at the right time. And that's where that film study that we heard all about this week comes into play.
So 4 receivers for Miller here on his first possession. He slings it outside. That's Brody Smith. And he gets a quick 3 yards. Look at the gang tackling by the home squad of North Davidson. And here's your Cook Reynolds starting lineups for this Davie County squad. An offense that's very young at the skill position. Only 2 seniors, but they're big ones. Brody Smith, the receiver, and Aiden Froelich, part of this Cook Reynolds starting lineup.
You want to talk about who Miller has to throw to? They've got some weapons on the outside, young, but very talented.
Here's the first carry for Markel Summers. It's unique. He's also the backup quarterback on this team and the tailback, setting up a 3rd and short for Davie County.
We heard emergency quarterback was the term I think that we were detailed this week, but when you look at the amount of passes he's thrown, it's kind of leads itself to thinking maybe he's more than emergency. I mean, he's a true part of the offense through the air and on the ground.
So a 3rd down, first of the day, and what a tackle in open space. North Davidson sniffs it out. That's Reed Nisley, the senior outside linebacker. He's the key to this defense.
Yeah, and he made a great play there, shedding the tackle. Brock Coleman was the one out there on the block. Sheds, gets underneath, and makes the play. Fantastic play to come up and make the stop on 3rd down.
Here's the Cook Reynolds starting defense for Alex Tesh in year 7. 3 defensive linemen, all returning starters. Junior, senior, with Greg Garcia and White.
Well, you got to love that. At the high school level, when you have that much senior leadership, and even those juniors mixed in there too, the upperclassmen reign supreme on this Black Knight defense.
This is a returnable punt, but it'll roll out of bounds right at the 26-yard line. So North Davidson gets the ball here first. A program we told you 0-2 coming in. A little different story, though, of how they got to 0-2 this year. North Davidson, they can really score it. 30 points a game. And it starts with the senior, Gavin Hill. Last week, 2 touchdowns, but 3 interceptions. And those were costly in the loss to Northwest Guilford.
Talked a little bit about how Ty Miller on the other side of the football has to take care of it as well. Make the right decisions. Gavin Hill's in the same boat. Got to take care of the football, cut down those turnovers.
So the first play of the night for North Davidson with the band rocking here in Welcome, North Carolina. It's a handoff for Xavier Hayes, and he gains 4 yards on his first carry before getting popped by Connor Hood. The Cook Reynolds starting attack for the home squad of North Davidson. Hayes is the do-it-all playmaker, but he's got a wide receiver weapon. Nisley made a nice tackle a moment ago. Naylor has double-digit catches, and Simpson. It's a great trio in this offense.
They've got some weapons at the skill positions, that is for sure, and they've got experience. And really, when you talk about the young nucleus that they have that starts in the backfield, number 11, Xavier Hayes, big-time playmaker for this offense.
So a 2nd and medium. Here's a shot for Hill. He's looking deep down the middle and has a man. Down to the 30-yard line. What a catch for Reed Nisley. He has a tackle for loss and a 30-yard reception early.
And what a beautiful throw that time by Gavin Hill. Straight down the seam. You see the play action here, sets it up. Clean pocket, able to fire down the field and straight down the seam right between the defensive backs of Davie County. Nisley coming up clutch. Perfect execution the whole way around.
That's a Crescent Ford first down. Right of the game in style with a new F-150 from Crescent Ford of High Point. Well, we told you Reed Nisley is going to be an impact player. How about a huge tackle for loss and a 30-yard reception on 3rd down. Now Hill slings it near side. He's got Peter Simpson who breaks the tackle to the 25. So early on, I like the routes developed here by this offensive staff, really opening the game for Gavin Hill.
And showing different looks. I think that's where they've got to do their part as a coaching staff to offset this Davie County defense. Spread the ball out. Get it into space with your playmakers. We talked about them a little bit already. They've got to be the ones to make those plays tonight.
Davie County starting defense from Cook Reynolds. Sophomore, junior on the defensive line. All 3 starters from last year. No pressure this time on the toss to Hayes, who gets to the corner. And a first down on the ground. You look at this offense coming in for North Davidson, averaging 178 yards on the ground, but over 200 yards passing. It's a nice balance offensively.
And you really got to respect that. You know, you got to throw the records out sometimes when you look at these early season matchups at 0-2. Some things that you go through in the season, especially in the early part, you get through those things. But this is an offense that's dynamic. Don't get it twisted. They lost to 2 very good teams early on this year.
What a pleasure for Cody Bowman and Corey Reich, who share the offensive coordinating duties. Now Hill slings it middle. And that's a catch for Ethan Snyder, the tight end. He's a baseball commit. He's playing for the Campbell Fighting Camels next spring, but it's 6'5", a nice target over the middle.
I'm sure you're going to see him a little bit more after this game, Evan. But that's being said, another one of those routes, it's a little bit shorter. We've seen a deep shot, we've seen the bubble screens, and now just a short little cushion route that time, coming back over the middle and gaining yards on first down.
So Hill on 2nd and 7, puts it in the belly of Hayes. He looks to get to the outside and spins off a tackle. Good stop by Mason Shermer, but we have an injured man down for Davie County. So one of the defensive linemen down for Davie County. These teams last met in 2019, and we had 73 combined points. Feels like that might be the story tonight with some high-scoring teams.
Yeah. I mean, we're talking about an offense that's done a good job here to start the game for North Davidson, but
we'll check on the injured player and come back after this in our Friday Night Rivals game of the week. Well, welcome back here to North Davidson High School. We're going to dive into some of our keys to the game and focus on our star player, Samari Seen, who's been seen all over the field, starting defensive back, starting tailback. And the coaches said this week, what really makes him great is he gets after it every day in practice. That'll be key for North Davidson.
Yeah, absolutely. When you got a senior who's setting that tone, not just during the game, but in practice throughout the week, it's going to be huge for your team. Seen as one of those guys, he's going to be paramount for the defense.
And Seen told us, he tells the whole team, hey guys, I got it. I'm going to fix it after each mistake. That's a veteran move for a senior running back and defensive back.
Well, exactly. And it starts with that senior leadership. Talked about how there is that experience on this team, especially defensively. North Davidson has those guys that are able to lead the way, and Samari Seen is very much one of them at the forefront of that movement.
Here's the keys to the game, Mark. You mentioned for North Davidson off the top, they have to play to that senior leadership. And then Davie County on the road, how do they play mistake-free football tonight?
Well, it's going to be about, again, just taking care of the football. We talk about making those preparations, not putting the ball in danger when you're throwing it by throwing into coverage, holding on to the football when you're in the middle of that defense so it doesn't get stripped out, just making sure you're not making those mistakes, and also the mental aptitude to not have those penalties get in the way of what you're doing. It's a hard game to play mentally, but you have to get through it if you want to find success.
Davie County, 3 turnovers in the first 2 games. Lose a heartbreaker last week, and that's the difference between being 1-1 and 0-2.
And they play 2 really good teams. You talk about the beginning of the year, they go to Mooresville, they lose a game that really may have been closer to what the final score indicated for them in a tough environment in Mooresville. But then you play against an undefeated still West Rowan team, and that's tough. You know, you're going on the road against a very good team in their own right. Matter of fact, those 2 teams play each other tonight in Mooresville and West Rowan.
We're keeping an eye on the defensive lineman who was injured during the play, Grayson Caton, the sophomore. Hope the best for Grayson. Gives us a chance to give a shout out to the athletic trainers here tonight. All different shapes and sizes. Very important for these young athletes. So what a start. Gavin Hill's perfect through the air. And he works now on 3rd and 4 in this opening possession. Back in the gut of Hayes. He gets to the outside, looks to get a block, and piles forward to the sticks. He is right at the first down marker. They give it to him. And a first down, gain of 4.
Kind of looked like that Davie County defense did a really good job of stretching that play out towards the sideline, not allowing Hayes to get vertical with it, but he was able to get close enough to that line of scrimmage where he was able to lower his shoulder and make a play and pick up the necessary yardage.
That's a crescent forward first down to move the chains. How about this drive? 4 minutes of time, working the clock. Hayes last week, 27 carries, 171 yards. He was toting the rock for North Davidson. Now he totes it in the red zone. Hayes looks for 6, and he's going to keep turning just a yard short of the end zone. So a clear priority for Corey Reich, the offensive coordinator. Put it in the belly of Hayes and let him go to work.
Absolutely. And you talked about the stats last week. He was the bell cow, the workhorse for this offense. They expect much of the same here tonight. All those skill possession players that they've got, but don't get it twisted. Xavier Hayes in the backfield is the go-to guy here tonight.
Hayes has 3 touchdowns on the year, and here's interim head coach Kevin Gleisler, 29 years in the athletic department. This is his first-year run on the show. Let's see if he can lead his team to a touchdown. Hayes on the toss, breaks 1 tackle. He looks for the end zone now, and he's in. The creativity of Xavier Hayes for the opening drive touchdown.
All determination there by Hayes. Just putting his head down, breaks 1 tackle out of the toss right there. Looked like he was going to be trouble right off the bat. But the athleticism of Xavier Hayes was on showcase there. Breaks 1 tackle, sticks his nose, gets upfield, and fights for those extra yards before he finds the end zone.
Hayes is the 60th ranked player in this great state of North Carolina. He showed you with some harder running to finish that playoff. Here's the extra point from Alex Lozier, and a 7-0 start for North Davidson. Midway through this first quarter, ground and pound attack for the home squad. And a touchdown run of 4 yards puts North Davidson out in front here early in the first quarter. What a start to our Friday Night Rivals game of the week. Closed captioning for tonight's game is being brought to you by Caring Hands. At Caring Hands Home Health, we understand that the happiness of your loved ones is important to their overall wellness. How about the happiness of the Brutal Black? It's the home squad for North Davidson. They are fired up for a show tonight.
Yeah, that's a squad right there. Down on the field, pretty intimidating. I got to tell you, when you see that sea of black right at the bottom.
What do they say, whole squad ready?
Yeah, exactly.
Now the squad's ready here with Mark Covert and Dave Gorin on the field. I'm Evan Budrovich. The home squad at North Davidson searching for its first points and first win. There's a short kick and a fair catch called. So Davie County, its second possession, down by a touchdown. And this is an offense for Davie County that last week they played really well, 34 points against West Rowan, but Evan York had 2 touchdowns. It was a lot through the air, though, not much on the running game last week.
And that's where they've got to get it going here tonight. You talked about on the other side, Xavier Hayes, how dynamic he is for that offense. It's got to start on the ground here.
And look at that gaping hole. Escaping is Markel Summers. He has the end zone written all over it inside the 10, and he's gone. What a response on the first play, and back even with the touchdown.
Johnny on the spot, right? We're talking about the ground game. They've got to get it going, and no better way to do that and respond to that first drive touchdown for North Davidson. Davie right back in this thing with a beautiful blocking up front and the speed, the straight line speed of Markel Summers once he hit that second level.
That's 67 yards of burst from the junior tailback. My goodness, what a start on the ground. We just talked about, well, the passing game of Davie County takes over the game. You have to run the ball, and boom, one play.
It's all about balance, right? And there seems to have maybe found something right there, at least for one play, capturing that.
Speaking of balance, we have some movement here in our first penalty of the night, which gives us a chance to introduce our white hat and our lead referee, Gary Overton. We'll be talking to you tonight on Friday Night Rivals. So it is a penalty on the defense. We'll work on Gary's microphone, but we'll translate for you. They're going to decline the penalty. So this extra point, a chance to tie it midway through the first quarter. The kicker's a good one. Palmer Williams, who's committed to Baylor University. He signed on July 1st. Now looks to cap off this drive. Good snap, good hold for Mason Shermer, and a 7-7 ball game. Well, Mark, if this game continues at this rate, the last time these teams met, 73 points. We're in for a big show offensively.
I think the barn burner might be a good way to put it, but right there, Markel Williams bursting through the hole, making a play for this offense. And just like that, we're drawn even at 7.
No chance for Samari Seen. You mentioned him coming in, trying to catch up to the speedster. Now look at this angle, coming into your living room. Markel Summers got some oomph to him.
You want to talk about a guy who has some length to him. Markel Summers is not a small back out there at all. He's got some speed, but for a longer individual like him, those strides open it up.
To fill, Mark, replacing Tate Carney, the Wake Forest commit, who's playing his freshman year. He ran for 1,130 yards last year. That's big shoes to fill.
Right, but it's also important to know that, because really when you're behind a guy like that for an entire year or 2 or 3, you're able to learn from him. You can study from him. You can see what his tendencies are, what he does well. And those are things that you can take and you can integrate into your own game. And Markel Summers hopefully learned from that, and it sure seems like he may have here. 3rd week of the season, looking as fresh as ever with the long touchdown.
So the Palmer Williams kick to get this second part started. And that'll go deep into the end zone. Second drive coming up. And a very efficient opening drive for North Davidson. No incompletions, 3 third-down conversions, and Gavin Hill, how'd he march him right down the field?
Yeah, usually these first couple of plays, maybe the first 10, 12, 15 plays in most games are scripted. And by that, they mean throughout the week, they just come up with a list of plays that each team wants to run at the beginning of the game. Just kind of see what the defense is doing, see what the offense is doing, give them looks and see what's working and what may not. And right there, it seems like game plan-wise, this North Davidson coaching staff hit it right on the head with that first drive.
So Gavin Hill, a perfect 4 of 4 passing as he sets up his offense here on first down. And why not put it back in Hayes' gut, who follows a block off the left side. A nice gain of 5 on first down.
Really like the patience that time by Hayes, just kind of waiting at the line of scrimmage, holding his, just stopping for a second, and then bursting through the hole when he saw it develop behind his offensive line. They did a good job of staying on their blocks and allowing Xavier and Hayes to get through that hole.
Coach Gleiser said it best, give X the ball and get out of the way.
Right.
It's an explosive senior tailback who has had conversations with Elon, NCA&T, a lot of local programs at the FCS level. You could be seeing him on Saturdays coming up. And now the first carry for the new tailback into the game. That's Zaylen Hayes, the sophomore, only 5'8", but a little burst on his first carry. And Hayes has less than 5 carries this year, but he's the scat back for this offense.
Change of pace kind of guy. Xavier Hayes is that bruiser, that big imposing back. He's got speed in his own right, but you need to have that change of pace guy. And the other Hayes is the one to do it.
So this time it's the big boy Hayes who bounces off a tackle, and he's got enough for the first down. Good tackle at open space there for Connor Hood, the sophomore, and a gain of 6.
Really good open field tackle too by Hood, not allowing Hayes to break out of that one, just getting enough of his leg that time as he was breaking outside the tackles. Had a chance to pull away there if he got that burst. But again, a really nice open field tackle that time by Connor Hood.
That's a Crescent Ford first down, right to the game in style with an F-150. Crescent Ford of High Point. Back to Hayes. He's got a nice block to the outside from his left tackle and is cracked at the 38. And we have a flag back. That could be holding on that first down carry.
Just instantly, the first thing I see when I look at Hayes, his running style, you see it here, he just waits. He's not running full speed as soon as he gets the football. He is watching his linemen pull, staying behind them and see where the play develops, following their blocks. And as an offensive lineman, you love that. That's got to be paramount for what you do as running back.
Mark, that's like watching you go to the pregame barbecue clapping. You start at a decent speed, and then once that bag's opened up, and
it's gone.
A good barbecue, it's full explosion.
I mean, you blink, you open your eyes, and you're like, oh, what happened?
Same could be said of these two teams running the ball efficiently. Both clubs over 50 yards on the ground, and we're in the first quarter. As Gavin Hill now works in a first and forever. He has to get to the 42. So Hill slings the route a bit wide. That's his first incompletion of the day, searching for his slot receiver, Reed Nisley.
Trying to look for Nisley there. That's a tough throw to make when you're coming all the way across from the left side of the field and you're eventually just throwing into the way you're running. Sometimes that football gets away from you.
And typically on bootlegs, you see him go to the arm side.
Right.
He went opposite. It made it a little tougher.
Exactly. You're throwing back across your body almost. It's kind of a weird motion, especially when you don't set your feet right there. It's hard to throw. It's almost like you want to throw behind the receiver so it gets to them on target.
Last week, North Davidson only 22 points. They struggled to score at 8 in the first half, and a couple of touchdowns late were not enough. What an atmosphere tonight in Welcome, North Carolina, as Hill slings it outside. And there's the big tight end, Ethan Snyder, with his second catch before 3 men bring him down. And that's what it'll take to bring down the 6'5", 210 tight end, Ethan Snyder.
Eli Brunham was there to make that stop. Just held him up long enough for a few of his War Eagle teammates to get over there.
Help, I need somebody. And he got some help there from Mr. Branham. I mean, Snyder's a big dude.
Yeah.
6'5", 210 in high school. That's got some girth.
And sometimes that's all you can do. Just hang on and wait for some of your guys to get there to help out.
So Nisley with a big 30-yard catch. He goes in motion on 3rd and almost 20. Hill escapes. He has to run for it. And Davie County will take that back to the original line of scrimmage. And here comes the punt unit. That's a big stop late in this first quarter.
We were talking about kind of how does Hill rebound from last week, 3 interceptions. Don't force the football into coverage there. Don't make a bad play just because you're trying to make a play. Smart move, tuck the football, gain what you can, get back to where you were at the original line of scrimmage. Actually, they're still a little bit back. But
and Coach Gleiser told us this week it was North Davidson trying to force too many efforts, the 3 turnovers, and that put them behind the 8 ball, snowballed away.
Again, you're trying to make a play, but be smart when you're doing it.
Here's a short squib punt. This is favored in Davie County, but an incredible bounce. Turns what could have been a 10-yard punt into all of a sudden a 41-yard boot. Well, friendly bounce on a nice turf tonight plays kind to the punter.
Home field advantage.
And now Tim Devericks, the Davie County head coach, 28 years with this program, and he has taken over as the head coach in the last 2 decades. He knows his team is underachieved record-wise, but he told us this week, I love the competitive nature of practice. Grit, unity, and attitude are the big pillars for this team.
Tell you what, when you look around the state and you talk to the people about high school football at the state of North Carolina, Davie County is a well-known commodity throughout the state. There's a reason for that. Coach Devericks does an excellent job of getting his kids in the right position to play the best football they possibly can. Rough start to this year.
I think you just jinxed him with the false start there.
Hey.
Second penalty for Davie County tonight. A team last year, the War Eagles, finished 6-5 in the 4A West Division. Glenn and Reagan, 2 of the best teams in the league from last year. East Forsyth was solid too. They made a deep tournament run into the state playoffs. So not an easy road in conference play. As back down to the touchdown maker. That time Summers gets just 2. What's the adjustment for this defense, the 3-4 unit of North Davidson?
Well, maybe it was a one shot because right there they pinched down into the middle and really congested the middle of the field that time. Davie likes to use that power run kind of offense, go straight at you and attack.
Starts with that big defensive tackle, Abraham Garcia, the senior at 5'10", who bull rushes in. A lot of time now for Miller, who takes his shot and finds a man in midfield. What a snatch for Brody Smith. And that's a gain of 25.
That was a very interesting play. So you're going to look here. The release looks a little slow that time from Miller, but he loaded it up and still able to find a man down the field. An excellent pass. Able to find his guy running free in the secondary.
And Brody Smith's a strong man.
Yes,
he
he
can
is.
Front squat 325. He deadlifts over 300 pounds. He's a big, strong dude. And that time Brody jumped a little too early, so he got excited there.
Right.
Talking about his bench press and his strong workouts, and maybe he slipped a little early.
Well, for those at home wondering what those numbers mean, boy's strong. He can move some weight, and that also transitions out here to the football field. A strong receiver in the slot, reliable hands.
Summers gives it back to the quarterback, so Miller scrambles up the middle. He has 20 rushes this year, but how about this? 6 yards a carry on the ground.
Just efficient. When you talk about the athleticism that you want from the quarterback position in today's game, Ty Miller is one of those guys. He's a prototype.
2nd and 11 for Davie County. Miller slings it down the sideline. He's got a man, and it's it's dropped. What a chance, and Alex Naylor dropped it.
Watch this effort. That ball just hung a little too far for Miller. And that time Naylor was able to sit down underneath the route down the field. Really nice anticipation following the football in the air.
These are the moments you dream of as a kid, the breadbasket pick.
Almost did it with one hand, just couldn't bring that one in.
What if I told you Alex Naylor is an outfielder who will play at Wingate next spring? A baseball star. Now a 3rd and long for Davie County. This is well short of the sticks, but a chance here for Froelich, and a nice open field tackle setting up 4th down.
See, good throw to the outside. Give your guy a good chance. Actually, this is the replay from the last play. Almost a one-handed pick by Naylor.
That would have been SportsCenter top 10 instead.
Yeah.
It's a forced punt. That stop a moment ago was by Reed Nisley, who's been all over the field. So how about this? 4th and 6 and decision time for Davie County. Matthew Gould, the offensive coordinator, lets him ride on 4th. This is past the sticks and dropped. The crushing hit from Naylor, who makes up for it to knock the ball loose.
Giveth and taketh away, right? You give up the pick, the opportunity to turn the football over. Redeem yourself with a huge hit on 4th down to knock the ball away. Coleman had it in his hands. It was an easy pitch and catch, but Naylor coming over the top, making the hit, forces the ball to bobble rather, and is knocked out. Turnover on downs. Nice play by Naylor in the secondary.
I love the conversation, too, between Froelich and Miller. They're getting on the same page here as a quarterback duo, and let's see what this penalty is. Okay, it's a sideline warning on the home squad. I can see why. You get the 4th down stop. You're playing in front of thousands of fans. You're on television. There's a lot of energy here
You're
tonight.
fired up, and both of these teams are desperate for that first win.
Both clubs 0-2 this year.
They are ready to get that first W.
And North Davidson ran the table in the 3A West last year. 5-0 in conference, a playoff berth. A different story, though, in 2022. As, boy, look at the speed of Xavier Hayes. He just churns out 7 yards with ease.
This offensive line is doing him a lot of good right now, too. They're getting push up front, changing the line of scrimmage and allowing Hayes to survey the field, see where his holes are developing.
What if I told you Hayes is averaging 8 yards a carry? What a difference maker for the senior tailback.
6'1", 200 pounds. You expect him to be efficient just physically. But again, when he's getting that help up front like he's had to start this game, it's going to help him out a lot.
First drive, a touchdown, methodical, 12 plays. Second drive, forced a punt. Now in the closing minute of this first quarter. Let's see what North Davidson has in store. First home game of the year for the Black Knights. There's a fake misdirection. Now Hill takes his shot, looking deep, and it's knocked off the helmet of the defender. That's Willie Purvis, right place, right time.
If he turns around, I mean, all he has to do is turn around, and he's got an interception. I mean, it's right there waiting for him, trying to take that deep shot down the field for Naylor. Was not there. That was one of those mistakes that Gavin Hill cannot make. A throw into coverage. That one should have been easily picked off if the defender turns around. 3
interceptions in his debut, and that cost North Davidson a 7-point loss against Reagan. Now we have a whistle here. Okay, so 5 more yards for North Davidson. Coach Gleiser told us this week his team has struggled on 3rd down. They need to find ways to execute. Well, here's a great example late in the first quarter.
You know, you can look at several different stats and lines and highlights from those first 2 weeks and why these teams are 0-2 right now. And the mistakes are what's there. Most of them are mental. If they clean those up, it could be a much different story at this point in the year.
Tight end Cameron Atkins in motion on 3rd and 8. Little quarterback run. Hill finds his man, and it's the wrong team, picked off. Davie County with the pick, and into North Davidson territory, Ethan Sylvie with the gift-wrapped interception to the 35.
Talked about Gavin Hill forcing that football down the field 2 plays ago. Now throws it right into coverage. I mean, never saw him sitting there, and that's just an excellent play. Good recognition, right place, right time, and Sylvie's the beneficiary this time. Nice catch and run after.
First career reception for Sylvie, and he's a defender. Let's be clear, his first interception, and he gets the job done. That's a big turnover late in the first quarter. Now this offense for Davie County feeds it into Markel Summers, and he just gets a yard. So the first carry goes for 67. He's only averaged 3 yards a carry since.
Tough sledding. A defense, again, with a lot of experience when you're looking at what the Black Knights have to offer.
Black Knights defense, all 3 upperclassmen returning starters, 2 senior linebackers. This is an experienced front 7. As Hill slings it outside to Brody Smith. And that's a first down. Nice gain of 10. That'll stop the clock with 7 seconds left in the quarter.
Just to move those chains, but a nice play call. Again, getting your guys out in space and allowing them to work. Talked about how Smith is so strong in the weight room. That does translate out here, and it shows off right there. Almost
as strong as a Ford F-150 from Crescent Ford of High Point as we close out this first quarter. Davie County's going to sit in their hip pocket and take us to break. What a start here in Welcome, North Carolina. I hope you buckled up because there's a lot of offense so far. 7-7, a couple of interceptions, 2 touchdown drives, and 1 was the effort of this touchdown. Look at the dancing and the movement for 7, and then the speed and burst. 67-yard response for Davie County. We got a tie game through 1 quarter. Stick with us for the second here on Friday Night Rivals Game of the Week. We're back with tonight's winning row. Everyone in this winning row will receive free tickets to the Carolina Classic Fair, September 30th to October 9th. The Carolina Classic Fair, riding, rocking, livestock, and tickets available online now. Try saying that 5 times fast.
I'm just interested in the fair food.
I tell you what, those kids are ready in the student section. The brutal black as Davie County, the road squad, goes to work. Miller with plenty of time elects to run. That's a smart decision. And Miller gains 8 on first down.
Really just part of that natural progression when you talk about playing mistake-free football. Look down the field, see if anything's open. Nothing's there. You've got room to run, take it. Get those free yards. That defense is giving you that. Take it and live to play another down. Good job on first down.
And Ty Miller's a first-year starter. Alex Summers, the lefty athlete, he had 28 passing touchdowns last year. A little different offense. It's the mental game of Miller that really stands out to this staff. So he calls his own number and gets the first down. Those are the elements of Miller's game that are really unique.
Yeah, the athleticism stands out so much. And we talked about how he's just a prototype of what you want in a quarterback in today's game. Accurate with the football, can really throw it down the field, but also has the athleticism to not just extend plays, but make them with his feet, pick up those yards when they're given to him on the ground.
He has a 100-yard rushing game this year. That was last week, and 200 yards in the air. So we have an official timeout. And I think the officials are going to check the chains here, if that's a first down or not.
It's awful close.
Gary Overton asking for the sticks. There you go. First down.
Just by the nose of the ball.
Just by the nose of a trip to Crescent Ford. Check out the newest Ford trucks at crescentford.com.
Nice solid run. Just to get just enough, and that's all it takes sometimes. As long as you're moving the sticks there.
So Tim Devericks told us this week when the band starts playing and the crowd gets into the game, he gets the inner rumbles inside of him, just like the rumbles of his quarterback picking up 2 for this first down.
So right there, just sticking his nose into this fray there and falling forward.
Yeah, I love the defensive lineman there, Tevin Gray, saying, I didn't touch him, I didn't touch him. We might have a face mask here on the pitch and catch to Brian Argueta. Argueta's a little shifty back. 4 receptions, 31 yards in his opener. Didn't catch a ball last week.
But he is the kick returner for this team.
So it is a face mask. And that'll set up 1st and goal. That's a game-changing penalty.
As of right now, where these offenses, we talk about yards right now, they are moving up and down the field against these defenses with relative ease. Minus the turnover by Gavin Hill offensively on the Black Knights' previous possession. They are still doing what they want offensively. Davie's just responding with a drive of their own.
Can Miller punch it in for a 2nd time tonight? He gives it back to Summers and is popped behind the line. That hit hurt from up here in the booth. What a shot by Carter Benson and Hayden Gooding, the linebackers.
It's a physical play right in the middle of that defense. What your linebackers to do, converge on the ball carrier and make the powerful stop.
And we wondered, I mean, Benson hit him so hard. You do have to check here for possible concussion-like symptoms, because this was a tough hit.
See right there in the hole. I mean, as a linebacker, that's exactly what you want. You and the running back right in the hole, one-on-one. You can't ask for a better situation. If you're about that life in football, you make that play. Sometimes it...
And this is an important lesson for everyone watching at home. When a player experiences a moment like this, you need to take him out of the game, evaluate him, make sure he's okay mentally, because 10 years ago, these kids would come right back in. This is an important step in high school football.
You can vouch for that. And I don't think it's really just in high school. It's at all levels. We've seen the game change so much in the last 10 years on so many different levels. But player safety has been the one that's had the biggest impact. I mean, you talk about allowing these players to play a safe brand of football, but when you have instances like this, where you see some of the rule changes in the sport today, a lot of them are made with the best interest of the player's health and safety in mind.
What a nice view tonight in Welcome, North Carolina. Temperatures have dipped into the low 80s. So we're not sweating bullets much here in the booth, but certainly this team's trying to sweat getting some stops on the ground. Markel Summers, who scored on his very first touch, now back in the red zone on 2nd and goal. 2 teams yet to get a win, but now looking for the lead here in the 2nd quarter. And it's back to Summers. Oh, quarterback keeper, in fact. And with a couple of flags. Quarterback is short of the end zone, but let's see the flags here.
Say both of them were thrown at the exact same time, and usually right in the area of holding, and that's exactly what it is.
Looked like the guard, Kevin Lazaro.
It's right there, yeah, absolutely.
Oh, yep.
Give him the old Ole.
That's interesting, because if that play continues, that would have been a touchback. The quarterback lost it before he went in the end zone.
Unless he hit the pylon. If he hit the pylon, then it's a touchdown.
He has to control the ball and get it over the pylon. Great point. Sure. Well, we'll save that for later.
Right.
And now it's a 2nd and long in this goal-to-go situation.
That is a whole other can of worms, if that does take place.
So Miller lets it sling on 2nd down. He looks for Brody Smith, who bobbles the touchdown. Wow, right in the breadbasket of Mr. Brody.
Jumped up for that one. I mean, wide open. Great route by Brody Smith coming across the middle on the post. Just not able to bring that one in. See right here, I didn't know if he lost concentration while he was in midair, but that's a perfect pass, perfect route.
Would have been his first touchdown of the year, and he lost it.
What are the coaches going to tell him? Catch with your hands, not with your body.
Catch him like those dumbbells. It's a strong man at the slot receiver. So 3rd and goal. And a missed opportunity there for Davie County. The holding penalty becomes costly as here comes the kicking unit.
Yeah, and that time a little bit of pressure got into the backfield that time and threw Ty Miller off his mark. Just had to rush that throw a little bit. Maybe wanted to develop a little bit more. It looked like that time he was going for Markel Summers on the seam route. And had to rush that throw a little bit, threw him off, forces the incompletion.
So a 33-yard kick for Palmer Williams. the Baylor commit, who's excellent in these opportunities. Good snap from Shermer. The kick is blocked. North Davidson with the stop. And it's the big pause, if you guessed it. North Davidson's Reed Nestle with the stop.
Just that pressure, not getting those blocks down, and North Davidson makes that Davie County field goal unit pay. Rushing along the sides and an excellent stop.
Nestle with a big reception, a big tackle for loss, and he saves 3 points here. What a start for the home squad in our Friday Night Rivals game of the week. We remain tied at 7 here in the second quarter.
Get your hands up. Hey, one behind the other, that's what you want. Reinforce.
So we remain tied at 7 on a blocked field goal by Reed Nestle early in the second quarter. It's been hard to find points after each team scored on their opening possession. And now Ty Miller, he thought about the handoff and there was nowhere to go. I think Markel Summers is fortunate to get a yard there on first down.
Just able to get up the field, get a few yards. That's the biggest thing on first down. When you're able to pick up at least a few yards, put yourself in a more favorable situation on second and third down. That goes a long way to helping you continue the drive.
So this North Davidson offense, they throw for more yards than they rush. Last year it was 50 passing touchdowns, a really efficient passing offense. But now with Gavin Hill as the new quarterback, he looks to settle things down. And he feeds it to Hayes, who gets a nice block, and he's 3 yards short of the first.
Another tough run right up the middle that time for these Black Knights. Just an excellent run again for the big-time running back, Xavier Hayes.
Stay tuned for the North Carolina DHHS halftime report. We'll have this week's Scholar Athletes, school interviews with the principals, highlights from across the country, and more. North Davidson's been really good on third down today. Have converted all but one so far. And the quarterback keeps it. He looks to run for it, and right at the sticks. Hill, I think, has the first down. And Ethan Sylvie was chasing him down like a cat trying to find a mouse.
That is a big-time play right there. Who's going to want it more? You got to get to the sticks to pick up the first down or bring up fourth down. Defensively, good job to get near that stick and give yourself a chance to fight for that continuation of this drive. I'm going to take a look at this one.
So based on my eyesight, I think that's a first down just looking at it, but the officials are going to double check here.
It's awful close.
And I love in high school football, the chain gang, they get readjusted, they stand straight. And we'll go down to Dave Gorham with more. Dave, what's up, my friend?
Well, you saw Reed Nestle block that field goal before, right?
Absolutely.
And so I was talking to a young woman taking pictures over here to my left on the sideline. It happens to be Reed's mom, Ricky. Takes pictures not only of her son, but also the rest of the team and posts them to social media. So you might see, depending on how good a photog she is, Reed's blocked field goal somewhere on social media tonight.
Okay, Dave, you got to turn around and ask for your picture now. That's the best part of these things.
We don't want her to break the camera.
Oh.
You're looking great down there. And the Nestle family, happy campers with the block kick. We appreciate your thoughts there, Dave.
Did you notice how they put Dave on camera again before us?
Hey, he's a good-looking guy.
He's better looking than us.
So the quarterback, Gavin Hill, goes back to work, and he bounces it short of Peter Simpson. Only the third incompletion for Gavin Hill today. He's really settled into his third start.
Yeah, it's been a better start than the last two really have been. He's given his guys an opportunity to make plays, distribute the football to them through the air. The one mistake, that interception that he just didn't see the defender sitting underneath in coverage. But outside of that, pretty good start to this one for Gavin Hill. Kevin
Gleiser said it as an offensive player. He's really good at flushing the bad plays out. That's the strength of this quarterback.
Yeah.
So he feeds it to his star tailback, who's going to be way short. So 3rd and 5 upcoming on the Hayes carry. It's been a steady dose of Xavier Hayes. He's now double-figure carries.
Well, he's been the feature guy, and we knew that coming into this game. He's the star of this offense. He's the one that makes it go. Really, at full capacity, he is going to be heavily involved. But they've been able to use him effectively here tonight. Set yourself up again. You're looking at an incompletion on 1st down, 5 yards on 2nd down gives you a much better opportunity to converge here on 3rd.
3rd and 5 for North Davidson. Hayes gets it again. He's got the 1st down. Now into Davie County territory. And what a clear out block by his center, Caleb Bovender, and his left guard, Alan Foltz.
It's a big boy play right there. Straight up the gut. You need 5 yards to get after it. See right down the pipe here. Hayes breaking a couple tackles, spins out, keeps his balance to pick up an extra 5, 6, 7 yards before falling to the ground. That is excellently done by the offense of the Black Knights.
That's a crescent forward 1st down. And in front of his own student section, the Brutal Black, they are loving this drive from North Davidson. Home opener for the Black Knights tonight. You can see the energy from that group. Nisley with his mom taking photos by our left in motion. Quarterback looks that way, and he finds Alex Naylor. It's been a tough day for Naylor. He couldn't hang on. He dropped the pick a moment ago and couldn't hang on to that reception.
Well, we've seen Naylor have his troubles. Some troubles on the side of Davie as well offensively. Some drop passes. Primary thing is you can't run with the football if you don't have it. Look that football the whole way in your hands. Pick up those precious yards first, and then you can worry about what to do with it after you secured it.
So Gavin Hill faces a 2nd and 10 midway through the 2nd quarter. After the team scored a touchdown on the opening drive, nothing since. Another strong run for Xavier Hayes, who gets half of it back. And that was actually Jamari Seen. So it's a nice tandem of tailbacks here between Hayes and Hayes, but it's the younger Zalen there with 5 yards.
It's a good rush right up the middle. Again, incomplete pass. Should have been a few yards on 1st down, but it's dropped. So what do? You run the football yet again for 5 yards, and for the 2nd sequence in a row, 3rd and 5 upcoming, you've given yourself a shot at an easier conversion.
When in doubt, follow the left guard with ponytails. Caleb Bovender's been blowing up the defensive line. And here's a toss going to the near side. Nowhere to go for the running game. And an open field tackle for Connor Hood. He snuffed that thing out from the start.
Well, realistically, that started along the defensive line. Matty Warner came up to force that one. A long developing play here. You see the play action with a fake up front. And right there's Warner in the backfield already. Slows up Seen and just not able to get back to full speed that time. Really good job by Warner blowing that up and allowing his guys to regroup.
What'd you think of the read there? Quarterback didn't give it to Hayes, and he tried to pitch it outside.
That one was for sure designed. I mean, you talk about Hayes being the guy. Fake it to him because you think the defense is going to suck down to him. That time, pitched outside.
And we have a timeout called by Davie County. I saw the coaching staff counting the number of players on the field. They might have been short one there on the punt unit. Mark, where's the offense gone? 2 drives, 2 touchdowns early. No one has scored since.
Well, I think when you talked about that first drive for North Davidson, I don't want to say methodical, but efficient was a really good word that you used. It was efficient plays down the field. And, of course, for Davie, it was a flash. And they were out the gate after the touchdown drive by North Davidson. So since then, they've moved the ball, just not able to capitalize and finish those drives off the way they wanted to.
This home squad led by Kevin Gleiser. He's replacing Brian Flynn, who's suspended for the first 4 games. This is game 3 of that suspension. So he'll be back in a couple of weeks. It's an early bye week for Davie County. They'll return in 2 weeks. So 2 clubs that want to find their mojo and their momentum here in week 3 of the season.
Well, and depending on how this one goes, really for Davie, it could be a perfectly timed bye week. You know, if you're coming off your first win of the season here tonight, you don't really want to have that bye because you want to have that momentum continuing to roll over. But if you start the year 0-3, it gives you a chance to regroup early on, reevaluate yourself for an extra week before you take on anyone else.
So the punt unit comes on from North Davidson. No one back to return here. Maybe a punt safe formation for Davie County. So this is wide open territory. They should have a nice bounce inside the 20. And that's all you can ask for. A little coffin corner to the 10-yard line. That's where Davie County will start. When we come back from this timeout here in our Carolina Classic Fair Friday Night Rivals Game of the Week presented by Roan Law, we have a 7-7 ball game as the brutal black fans are into it. And we got a tight game so far. Welcome back to Welcome North Carolina. Closed captioning for tonight's game is brought to you by Caring Hands. At Caring Hands Home Health, we do our best to make your loved ones feel like they're being taken care of by our family. I want to put some of those caring hands on the concessions that I saw. Ice cream was going around, hot dogs, popcorn. It got me hungry here in the first half.
I'm not sure why. Well, no, I'm probably sure why. But
there's the ice cream truck.
Every broadcast we do, somehow it always leads back to food.
I think someone just ordered some donuts there. You see them enjoying the night here in Welcome, North Carolina.
I'm kind of wondering what we have to do to get some donuts in the booth.
It's the Carolina Classic Fair Friday Night Rivals Game of the Week. What a delight to have you here. And right back to the running game. Nowhere to go after the explosive 67-yard touchdown. Summers gets just 2.
Again, tough running outside of that 67-yard run for the touchdown Summers had on the first play of the second possession for Davie. There just hasn't been that much there. This Black Knights defense has tightened up and locked down that running game of Davie County.
Miller is all by himself with 4 receivers. This is a QB run. And a nice stop by Alston White. He's short of the sticks, and there's the senior D lineman getting the stop on second down.
But not after a nice gain that time. A good run just right up the middle. Some of those simple plays where you can gain that necessary yardage is going to be crucial for this offense. And that time they're able to pick up a solid chunk to set them up with 3rd and short.
3rd and 2 late in the second quarter. Another QB run, and Miller's got it. Lowers the shoulder, and he gets to the 13. So we've seen an assertive running game for Ty Miller. That's a Crescent Ford first down. Check out the newest Ford trucks at crescentford.com.
And it is the aspect of this offense that we wondered about. How was it going to be effective tonight? Sometimes you have to switch it up. It can't just be all about your running backs. The quarterback has to do some of that work. And Ty Miller, as talented as they come, running the football.
So Miller lets it fly. Here's Brody Smith, and that time he hangs on. That'll be a first down for Brody Smith as he tiptoes near the 35. That's good redemption for Brody. Dropped the touchdown a moment ago and comes back to make the catch.
Just a nice, easy pitch and catch. A flat route out to the left side. Brody's right there all by himself, and he had room to work with after the catch.
Brody Smith now up to 5 receptions on the year. This is week 3 of the season. And back to Summers on the running game. Looks for that counter. And the counter is nowhere to go. That's a loss of 2. We've seen North Davidson really commit to the running game with that 4-2-5 defense. There are linebackers everywhere making tackles.
And that really is the advantage of having a 4-2-5 defense, allowing your skill position guys to fly around the football and make plays in space.
Kevin Weiser, who's the head coach this week, he's the former defensive coordinator, so he preaches defense in practice. We see a false start on Davie County. Because think about it, first run of the game goes 67 yards.
Right.
Davie County hasn't picked up 67 yards of rushing since.
Absolutely. And when you've got a guy that understands defense as well as they do here at North Davidson, it's one of those things that you can really lean back on. You're 0-2, and you need to try to strip it down, go back to basics. Defense wins championships. That's the old adage. Get back to what you do best and play sound defense and worry about what your offense can do to support that.
His offense has 1 touchdown drive and not much since on this 2nd and long. Miller slings it short, and Brody Miller immediately tackled Boy, North Davidson's flying around the football. And that time it's Zamari Seen, who's seen out there in the corner position.
Yeah, he's seen that before, that's for sure. This is the second time in this first half that a bubble screen like that has been blown up. On the first drive on a third down, there was a stop made. This time Zamari Seen makes the play.
So 3rd and long. Miller escapes. Here's some pressure. He has to run for it. Can Miller get to the sticks? And he will not. 4 yards short. But now decision time for Davie County. And here comes the punt unit.
Ty Miller got crunched on the end of that play. The flak jacket you see there protecting his ribs and his back. Really helping him out a little bit there. Good play. Puts his head downfield. Nothing there, so he takes off with the football in hand. Just came up just shy of picking up that first down. You gotta like the effort. The Black Knights again stand up defensively.
So Palmer Williams to boot this ball away. He's got a strong leg. And the fair catch is bobbled. Oh my gosh. We talk about Butterfingers tonight. That could be a factor for Mr. Naylor. He has struggled to hold on to the football. And possibly the final drive of the half here for North Davidson.
Gotta hang on to the football. Especially in a game where we've seen each offense score touchdowns effectively. One on a flash for Davie County, methodically for North Davidson. Those possessions could be extra precious. And a game like this could come down to 1 or 2 plays here and there that make the difference.
You gotta be careful there if you're Alex Naylor.
Right.
So the start of this drive for North Davidson from their 21-yard line. It's been the Xavier Hayes show tonight. And he gets it again. Gets a block, escapes a tackle, and drags a defender for a first down. That's a gain of 11 for Xavier Hayes.
This might be a case of North Davidson playing with house money. A little over 3 minutes to go before the half. You got the majority of the field to go. Give it to your big guy on the ground. You've got time to burn and work with.
The North Carolina DHHS halftime report comes up next. We'll have scholar athletes, interviews with the principals, and highlights from across the country and more. That'll be in 3 minutes, so let's see if North Davidson can take the lead heading to halftime. And Hayes goes into a wall of bodies for 1 yard. It's a tough man to stop. It took 5 Davie County defenders to even hold him up.
Well, there's not really a prime example that you could give better than that about what makes Xavier Hayes special. Even on a short run like that, the fact that he didn't go down, it's no wonder he has interest at the Division I level.
Xavier Hayes getting looks from Duke and Elon. He split the carries with Jeremiah Walker, who had 4 touchdowns last year. That was the 1-2 punch, thunder and lightning, if you will, out in North Davidson. Reminds me of Lendale White and Reggie Bush back in the day at USC.
There you go.
Churning up yards.
Showing your age.
Gavin Hill slings it to the near side, and there's a catch. So that time Simpson hangs on, and he's short of the first down after a gain of 9.
But you know what? I like that. It's a good rhythm throw. It's one of those timing routes, as they say. You got to be on time, on target. Good clean pocket for Hill to throw into. Sets his feet, fires out to the right side. It's an excellent throw along the sideline. And really good job working it, getting those feet in bounds if you're Peter Simpson.
That's the first catch of the year for Peter Simpson, and it came at a good moment late in the first half. Nowhere to go on this 3rd down carry, and that's a stop for Davie County. The big dreadlocks and the tackling there of linebacker Brandon Wood gets in on the play.
So here's the question. How do you feel about what your offense can do? Because you're kind of in that spot where your defense is playing well enough.
I thought you were going to ask me about Brandon Wood's hair, I'll be honest. But yeah, I think that's why the timeout's called here. A chance to talk this over.
Kind of think about it, because your defense is playing very, very well right now. They're not allowing a whole lot of yards out of Davie County. You've already seen your special team unit block a field goal. So you know you're getting it done on that realm. Just what are you going to do here offensively if you're going to keep them on the field and try to keep this drive alive? I got to be honest with you, I've been kind of waiting for them to work the play action game a little bit more. They've been feeding Hayes all this first half and really haven't utilized that play action the way they can. I would like to expect it here on this 4th down. It kind of feels like Hayes would be the center of attention on that offense. Defense might be looking to make a stop on him and open up an opportunity down the field.
And if you get the stop here for Davie County, that's in great scoring position.
Right, that's the flip side, the danger, right? The risk that you play by going for it here on 4th down. And it looks like they're going to stay out there offensively.
Okay, so the starting defense, the starting offense go to work. The Davie County War Eagle fans, they're into it tonight. 15 miles separate these programs, and it feels like 15 feet because there's plenty of fans for both squads tonight.
Two very proud programs, communities that follow them dearly. They live and die by what the War Eagles and Black Knights do, respectively.
Matchup of 4A and 3A foes, former league rivals just a decade ago. And now a play action to the quarterback, who is short of the sticks. Davie County sniffs it out, and it's a 4th down stop for this defense.
Well, they did exactly what we kind of expected. Go the play action game, fake it to Hayes. There was just no one down the field. Really good coverage that time by Davie County in the short passing game.
And how about Jared Alexander, number 30 in the white? He makes the stop.
You see right here that pressure almost immediately. That's part of the problem. Hill never had a clean pocket to step into. He thought he had to take off, didn't have an extra second to sit back there and survey the field.
So a minute 44 to go. Can Davie County strike for a late lead? Ty Miller puts it in the gut of Summers, who sneaks through a hole, and he's got a 1st down to the 28. That's a nice gain of 14 after he's been quiet most of this half.
I'm not really sure how a 5'11", 180-pound running back just kind of slipped through a hole that time, but you're going to see it right here. Number 4 in white, Summers just finds the hole and accelerates, puts his foot in the ground and got upfield for the 1st.
Out to Smith, who breaks a tackle. Can't get through the second. It was a missed tackle for Scene, and his teammate there, Hayes, came in for the stop.
Another play where North Davidson had this ball tracked on a screen. Out to that right side, they have been sniffing that out, and they have been on it, had a beat on it, just not able to get there in time to knock it down.
Targeted Brody Smith as we hit the final minute of this 1st half. Miller all by himself. He looks to run and brought down. The long arms of Alston White convert on the tackle for loss, and that's a sack.
Really good job by White that time. Sheds the block, comes back across the formation, and makes the play before Miller can get going. You see it right here. He's working on the left side of that offensive line, breaks off, and makes the play in open space. That is an excellent play. May have saved not just the 1st down, but even more if Ty Miller is still running.
3rd sack of the season for Alston White, and a timeout called here by North Davidson. I like that, the defense calling timeout, so they want to save time for their team late in the half.
Exactly. Try to get the football back. See what you can do. Again, we talked about what were they going to do if you don't convert the 4th down. How do you feel? The defense, outside of one play, really has done an excellent job here in the 1st half. So they would like the chance to have their offense get the football back and see what they can do here with just under a minute left in the 1st half. But it starts here on 3rd down.
Davie County has not converted its last 3 3rd downs. This has been a trouble for the War Eagles. In the looming seconds of the 1st half, Ty Miller is all by himself. Miller against a 4-man rush. He slings it short of the sticks. And now some room to operate for Summers, who's pushed out of bounds. So that stops the clock, but a flag is down. And what a costly penalty. Nisley in a shoving match, he gives up a penalty.
You got to be smarter than that, because that's going to be unnecessary roughness, out of bounds with a late hit. And that's exactly what it is. You know, I get it. You want to get out there and you make a play, and you do. I mean, Summers is out there in the open field. You're one-on-one with them, and you get him out of bounds. They don't pick up the 1st. You're going to get the football back.
But that play was over 3 seconds ago.
Exactly.
And Nisley knows it.
Yes. And Summers let him know it. I mean, that
Summers said, "Thank you very much."
Right. I mean, Markell was there, and he knew exactly what it was. Nisley's got to be smarter than that. That's just not a smart football play at the end of the 1st half, where this offense is threatening now.
That is a big mistake for North Davidson's defense. 8 penalties last week, and then that's a big one right there.
Yeah. Again, where 2 teams are 0-2, you can nitpick and find mistakes, areas where it kind of went wrong that changed the course of the last 2 games they've played in the season. It could be the same situation here tonight.
So a fresh set of downs, 1st and 10, just outside goal to go range for Miller. He's going to feed Summers, who breaks 1 tackle, keeps his feet churning, and he's down to the 7, so he gets half of what he needs with just 38 seconds left.
We've talked a lot about Xavier Hayes, rightfully so, on the other side of the football, but Markell Summers is having himself a pretty nice game. He's been a steady presence for this offense.
Miller, he keeps this time, and Miller inside the 5 has the 1st down as the clock stops with 20 seconds left. Timeout Davie County. They have 1 remaining. So if you're Davie County and offensive coordinator Matthew Gould, how do you punch the ball in here with a couple seconds left?
Well, there's a couple different levels to this. So while you're in the huddle, you have at least 2 plays ready. And by 2 plays, I mean you have a play that you're running this time, and in the event that whoever catches the football, runs the football, whatever it is, they go down in bounds and that clock is still running, you have another play right there to go right back up to the line and make it, whether you spike it, whether you actually run a play at all. Just get back up to the line of scrimmage. Only 1 timeout left. You may want to save that. You don't want to burn it right away just in case something happens on 3rd down.
This is what Davie County faced last week. Down 20-7 early. Came back to take the lead in the 4th quarter and then watch West Rowan come back to win the game. So they understand execution here late is huge.
I mean, Davie's been there in both games. The season opener against Mooresville on the road, they had a chance. Came back a little bit later in that game, and again against West Rowan last week they had a chance.
So Miller, 3rd and 1, gives it off to Summers. He's got the first, and he wants the end zone, but he's short. So like you said, what's the second play? And that's the timeout with 13 seconds left.
Well, you got to feel comfortable as long as they pick up the first down here.
So now that you've used your final timeout,
right?
Can you get 2 plays off in 13 seconds? Passing
tough.
plays, yes, but that might eliminate the running.
Well, again, it's tough. You got to have your guys understand, because realistically, your only option is here. You run a play. If you go down in bounds, spike it. And that's also providing they've got the first down, which, according to our broadcast, it is a 1st and goal.
I see. I thought they had the first down, and the officials are going to check this here. Swore that ball just moved back 3 feet after we, first talked about the play. So we'll check on the chains here first and then show you the replay to give you a sense of how close this is.
This first down makes a world of difference.
Oh. Okay, short.
Short, okay.
By the way, I love a chain gain operator with some overalls on. That just speaks high school football if I've ever seen it.
So here's the thing you have to remember is once they get the first down, the clock stops for them to reset the chains. Now, that may go a little bit quicker here because you're going to be in a goal-to-go situation, so those sticks just drop. You don't even worry about them.
Okay, wait a second. We're readjusting the chain. Okay, we'll double-check on that later.
There we go.
A little freedom of interpretation here in the closing seconds of this first half. Can the home squad get a stop, and can Davie County take the lead late in this first half? 4th and inches. Here's Miller to throw. He wants the end zone, and Brody Smith has it. First touchdown of the season for the senior, and Davie County takes the lead.
Really strong throw out to the left side of the field that time by Ty Miller. The quick throw that time, the quick out route to the left side that time by Brody Smith. And he is there for the catch, makes up and atones for the drop that he had in the end zone earlier in this half. Picks up the touchdown and puts the Davie County War Eagles up late in the first.
6th touchdown of the year for number 5, Brody Smith. He continues in his career to have a nice effort. Here's the extra point. After a blocked field goal earlier tonight, that'll secure it. And boy, that 4th down decision for North Davidson becomes costly. 35-yard drive and a touchdown in a minute.
Well, and I'd say more costly than even that 4th down decision was the penalty that kept this drive for Davie County alive. This was just fighting to get the ball carrier Summers out of bounds, and just way too long hangs on to him. You see right there a strong throw again out to the far side. Talk about the physical ability of Ty Miller.
Here's the physical ability.
Right, getting the football out there, and then the secure catch that time. Brody Smith not dropping that one.
After the drop touchdown on the last drive that led to the blocked field goal, he gets up and takes care of business for his squad.
It's got to feel good, right? You atone for the mistake, the drop that you had earlier. You're able
That's
to get
why
back
you do the bicep curls pregame, right? You want to show off the guns, and then when you catch the rock, you can celebrate with your teammates. That's how high school football works. 17, 18 years old. You got to show what you're doing in the weight room.
Got to have fun with it, right?
And with that, we come to the final 9 seconds of this first half.
Should be pretty bread and butter here.
Well, with the booming leg of Palmer Williams, there's been no returns tonight. The Baylor commit has an absolute cannon of a right leg. Now he hits a pooch kick that might go out of bounds. Ooh, it stays in bounds. How about that? Some crafty English for a touchback.
Baylor might have a good one. Yeah.
At least a smart one, that's for sure.
Well, you talk about the success of Baylor here the last couple of years. You can kind of see what
Dave Aranda has really built that program.
Yeah, and you can see what getting a recruit like that, what that means.
I mean, because this ball either goes out of bounds to the 40 or it pins you at the 20-yard line.
Coffin corner kickoff.
Choose the latter. And that home crowd reaction says the story. They're like, oh, darn.
Man,
I was going to grab some ice cream at halftime, and now I got to watch this final play. So, take a kneel down, and Markel Summers will work the clock out. So, that sends us to halftime here on our Friday Night Rivals Carolina Classic Fair Game of the Week, presented by Roan Law. Well, actually.
Oh. Now we're good.
Okay, now the referee starts the clock. And in that case, we'll head to halftime. A late touchdown by Brody Smith. Well, hold on a second. But, okay, so we're going to hold on the interview for a moment. Looks like the clock did not actually start. So our white hat, Gary Overton, says we have to snap it one more time and then go to halftime.
It's all just a tease.
I know Dave Gorin's ready to interview some of the stars going into halftime, and he's just sitting there waiting. Okay, so we'll need one more official snap to milk off a clock that Tim Deverick says, well, wait a second. That's not how the rule works. Oh, okay.
All right.
You know what? Let's just go to halftime.
Let's go to halftime.
Figure this out later. Brody Smith with that big touchdown, and now Davie County with a nice lead heading to the break.
Yeah, a strong drive to end the half, capitalizing on the mistakes of North Davidson, and just like that, the War Eagles find themselves up 7 going into halftime.
A War Eagles team that has been within one possession last week, battled in week 1 against Mooresville, now with the lead on the road. That's a nice start for Davie County.
Yeah, again, you want to get back on track. It's a get-right game for both teams here, and to get back on track, you had to execute in the first half, give yourself a chance going into halftime. That's exactly what Davie County has done.
We'll go down with Coach Tim Devericks and Dave Gorin. Go ahead, Dave.
All right, thanks very much, Evan. Tim, close one here tonight, huh?
Yeah, I wouldn't expect anything less than this rivalry. Two great teams, two great environments, and it's a hard-fought game so far.
You know, the fans and we media, we love to look at offense, but it seems to me like the defense is the deciding factor so far.
Yeah, a little old-school football right here tonight, right? And got to learn to play and win both ways.
Appreciate it. Good luck second half.
Right, thank you. Appreciate it.
Thanks very much. Tim Devericks, Davie High head coach. They just took a 14-7 lead right before half, and we will be back with the NCDHHS halftime report when we come back. Stay with us.
Throughout the 2022 Carolina Classic Fair Friday Night Rivals season, Bojangles will recognize an exceptional senior student athlete from each participating school with a plaque presentation prior to each game. This week's Bojangles Scholar athletes are from Davidson High School, Rebecca Minton. North Davidson's Rebecca Minton is the captain of the varsity volleyball and women's basketball team and was named All-Conference in 2021-2022. She's on the National Honor Society, is the student body president, and is an AP Scholar. Rebecca holds a 4.575 GPA and volunteers at Novant Health in her spare time. And from Davie High School, Emily Garner. Davie's Emily Garner is a two-year captain of the varsity volleyball and women's soccer team. She is a third-year National Honor Society student in the top 3% of her class and was a junior marshal. Emily holds a 4.5 GPA and volunteers at the Humane Society. Rebecca, Emily, and other nominated students are also eligible to win a $5,000 scholarship to be presented at the end of the season courtesy of Bojangles. Bojangles proudly gives back to our community and is honored to be the sponsor of the Friday Night Rivals Scholar Athlete Award.
And we are now joined by Davie High School Principal Michael Pruitt. Michael, good to see you. You guys are the only traditional high school in Davie County. How does that make you guys unique?
We are Davie County. So in addition to being home to over 90% of the students from all walks of life, all areas, we're also able to consolidate our programs into one building. So programs that are normally farmed out in multi-school districts end up being at our programs, such as our CTE programs and our arts programs.
CTE programs, tell us a little bit about those.
Yeah, we are thrilled to offer some great CTE offerings from professionals of all different kinds. We have 10 completer programs, including automotive. We've got a great masonry program, agricultural programs, carpentry, you name it.
So first week of school has ended with the kids in school, and today was later start Friday. Tell me about that, because I'm thinking this is something that I would have loved when I was in school.
Yeah, so would I. The students like it. Basically, we moved the start time back for students by about 45 minutes. So we start at 9 o'clock. The teachers start their day at 7:45. And what that is basically an investment in our teachers so that they can have the time necessary to get together, plan, coordinate their curriculum, and look over their data so that they can plan the best way forward for student success.
The great philosophy is if you get there late, you have to make up for it by leaving early, right?
Hey, we can try anything.
Michael, thanks very much for your time. Appreciate it. Have a great school year.
Thanks, you too.
All right, Michael Pruitt, I almost said head coach, principal at Davie High School, and Maria McGee, the principal here at North Davidson, will join us in a sec when we come back on the NCDHHS Halftime Report. Stay with us. We are back on the NCDHHS halftime report. Joining me now is North Davidson High School principal Maria McGee. And Maria, first week back in school, how does it feel to have a quote-unquote normal school year starting?
Well, it absolutely feels great. I'm starting my 24th year here with Davidson County Schools. 17 of those years I have been walking the halls of North Davidson, and I cannot remember a starting week better than this one. The kids being back in the building, fantastic. Our faculty and staff, second to none. Everybody smiling, having a good time. The kids it feels normal, and that just feels great.
Well, you could say schools are schools, but each school has their own character, own values. What are the values here at North Davidson?
So one of the things that we did last year, we spent a lot of time revisiting our vision and mission statement. So our mission statement, it revolves around all nights leading with honor. So we're really trying to instill honor in our students, to lead with heart, optimism, to be nurturing, open-minded, and to build those strong relationships. And so that is, if we can do that for kids, we've done a lot.
And that's really good, because I know you were worried you wouldn't forget one of those, right?
You're correct. You're right. Yeah.
And this is, I said it before the game in our open, this community has supported this program, the whole athletic program, really for forever.
Yeah. So North Davidson opened its doors in 1952. So we're celebrating our 70th anniversary this year. And we were the first traditional high school in Davidson County. So we always like to say we are the first and finest around in Davidson County. So we're very proud of that. And it's the people here that make a difference. We have third and fourth generation North Davidson students walking the halls of our building, and that truly means a lot to us. Yeah.
Well, have a great school year. Appreciate your time.
Thank you very much. I appreciate y'all being here.
Our pleasure, too. Maria McGee, the principal here at North Davidson High School. We have more coming up on the NCDHHS halftime report. Coming up next is the My Spot Medical Minute, your spot for COVID-19 protection from our halftime sponsor, NCDHHS.
Our youngest children, just like us, can get COVID-19. And unfortunately, we've seen a lot of younger children also get really sick. That's why we're so glad that we finally have a safe and effective COVID-19 vaccine for our youngest children. Our youngest children are vulnerable to getting COVID-19, just like we are, and we've seen some of our younger children get really sick. In fact, 1 in 4 children who are hospitalized end up in the ICU when they have COVID. We know that the COVID-19 vaccines can protect younger children against these severe forms of COVID-19, and that's why it's so important for parents to go out now and get your youngest children vaccinated. The COVID-19 vaccines for children ages 6 months and older are really safe and have been thoroughly tested in clinical trials. We also now know that millions of children across the country have received the COVID-19 vaccines, and that the CDC and all of us are monitoring the safety of the vaccines very closely. And what we're seeing is that they are safe and that they work to protect children against COVID-19. We encourage all parents to go to myspot.nc.gov or talk to your healthcare provider to find a vaccine near you.
Back here at North Davidson at the NCDHHS halftime report, and you are looking at our pretzel stacking contest. These are hard to stack pretzels, but these gentlemen look like they're doing pretty well. Joining us now is the events and branding manager of the Carolina Classic Fair, our sponsor here on Friday Night Rivals, DJ Hargrave. And DJ, all right, we know about the pretzels. What other fun foods can we expect? Maybe some new ones this year.
Yeah, possibly some new ones this year. You'll have to be on the lookout for those in the next few weeks. We'll have some big announcements as far as new food coming to the fair. But of course, we'll always have the staples that everyone loves: deep fried everything, deep fried Oreos, deep fried butter, deep fried Twinkies, whatever you want deep fried. Corn dogs, donuts, and staples. We'll have it again this year as well.
You're skinny. What's your favorite?
I like deep fried Oreos, but you have to plan it out. You know. So I still enjoy myself during the fair.
When is the fair, and what else can we expect this year?
September 30th through October 9th is when the fair is. You can expect a lot this year in terms of entertainment. If you go to CarolinaClassicFair.com, you can find those things. We actually just announced our concerts for the fair. That Monday for QMG night, we have CNC Music Factory with Rod Bass. That Tuesday, we have Nico Moon with Restless Road and Frank Ray. On Wednesday, we have Rent Collective and Christopher Paul. A lot of new concerts, a lot of new entertainment coming to the fair this year. We're really excited about it.
And why is it important for you guys, Carolina Classic Fair, to support high school football?
So we support all the school systems locally throughout North Carolina. We have school day at the fair and a ton of activities, both educational and entertainment for students. So we're really excited to support the school systems, not just locally, but just throughout the state of North Carolina.
And congratulations to the gentleman who's walking away with that stuffed triceratops. I'm told that's what it is. I'm not a dinosaur expert. Evan and Mark, let's go back upstairs to you guys in the booth.
That you could stack pretzels like 8 or 10 high, which is pretty neat.
If they were smart, they would bring them up here, and we can see how high I can stack them in my mouth.
Well, let's add that to the highlight, Mel, because I want to break down some of the big plays of this first half. And early on, Davie County had a couple of productive plays, but then how about the defense here from North Davidson?
Yeah, just blowing it up. We saw it a few times. This defense in the first half of North Davidson came to play very early on in this game.
Then the Black Knights let it fly in the passing game. That was a 30-yard pitch and catch to Nisley. Then the man on the mission, Xavier Hayes, sets up his first and goal, and then he sets up a touchdown.
Yeah, just a beautiful job following his block, staying patient on the touchdown run. Breaks one tackle and just gets upfield. Again, finding a feel for that defense, and he was the first one to find pay dirt tonight.
That's next level patience. Then the very next play, 67-yard house call for Markel Summers.
Just the speed. When he got to the second level there, his offensive line allowed him to get up to that level. And from there, it was all him, the straight line speed, and he took off.
And then we saw a little more defense in that second quarter. Here's a pick for Ethan Sylvie. The lone turnover for North Davidson.
Talked about Gavin Hill needed to be smart with the football. A costly mistake there, or it would have been.
And then he makes up for it with a blocked kick. That saved 3 points. But then this decision late in the half to go for it on fourth down, and that set the stage for Davie County's touchdown.
Yeah, realistically, right here, you're going to see a mistake. Going for it on fourth down, not converting for North Davidson leads to the late touchdown drive. Brody Smith atoning for an earlier mistake in the first half and scores.
I tell you, this student section for North Davidson, they may be trailing, but they have the juice and the energy here at the home environment. Oh, look at that young student there. I tell you what, at high school football, energy, this is pretty neat.
It's
Welcome,
different.
North Carolina.
It's different.
There's the Triceratops, but where's the pretzels? That's the real question. Let's talk about some more important numbers than, cheerleaders and student sections and all that, but stats from this first half. Because, Mark, we told you about that 67-yard rushing touchdown for Davie County. They have 1 rushing yard since that play.
Again, talked about defensively how well North Davidson played for much of the first half. Just that late touchdown drive is really the only blemish outside of the 67-yard touchdown run.
And then North Davidson with Xavier Hayes. He's been trading carries with Zaylin Hayes, and those two have a nice little running attack.
And they've been really good, but that 18 yards passing isn't going to get it done. This is a attack offensively for North Davidson that prioritizes balance. They've got to get more in the air and from the quarterback position out of Gavin Hill.
So Gavin Hill and his quarterback counterpart, Ty Miller, neither have been great through the air. Is it going to be a ground and pound attack game today? How do these quarterbacks get more involved?
Well, one of them has to take over. We've kind of seen the way Ty Miller's been able to at least impact the game with his legs on the ground. But through the air, Gavin Hill's got to get it done. He had a deep pass early on that was able to drop right in the bucket. But since then, not much. He's got to find more success.
First meeting since 2019 between these programs. And I tell you what, they have some no love lost between the two. We've seen some late hits. We've seen some personal fouls. There's some energy and emotion to this, and that's the byproduct of two teams being winless, wanting to play well on television.
And what do we label the show? Friday Night Rivals, and this is as big a rivalry as there is in the state. 0-2, the get-right game, finally trying to get back on track. Someone's going to come away with a win here tonight. Second half's going to be huge.
Yeah, who's going to make the difference? You see the Queen Knight ride on her horse and enjoy the Black Knight home festivities here. Home opener for Davie County. We'll get you an interview here in just a second with Coach Gleiser. Meanwhile, for the road squad, good student attendance. The team's up a touchdown. So Davie County now that has the momentum, how do they carry this forward in the second half?
Well, building on that momentum is going to be the first thing, and that means continue to do what you're doing offensively. They've been able to move the ball. It's just finishing those drives. You got to make sure that you're putting yourself in a position to convert on third downs, make them shorter. The short and medium conversions are going to go a long way to helping them out.
It's been a big game for Ty Miller. We noted the 66 yards passing. He's also ran the ball for double-digit yards. A dynamic athlete. It's neat because him and Markel Summers had split the reps throughout the year, and it's really been all Ty Miller getting the job done today.
Yeah, and they've been able to lean on him, and it really allows Summers to sit back in that running back position, and he's been able to focus on that instead of worrying about throwing the football as well. Once you simplify the game plan for everyone on the roster, it can go a long way to leading towards success.
The star tailback there, Markel Summers, he's nearing 70 yards of rushing in just the first half alone. Keep in mind, he entered this game in 2 contests, 92 yards total. So, of course, the first run's a big impact play, but they've kept feeding him since.
Well, and again, we talk about how they've simplified everything with Ty Miller playing.
And we'll go down to Dave Gorin here real quick with Coach Gleiser.
All right, thanks, Evan. Kevin, tough ending to that first half, but defenses on both sides have been pretty stingy.
Yeah, you know, first of the game, jitters came out and both teams scored pretty quick, and then things settled down and started playing some real football. And, you know, right there at the end of the half, we just didn't hold up our end of the deal. So we're going to come out with the ball coming out in the second half. We're going to come out and run the ball and try and get that run game going again and put it up in the end zone and get the tie going.
What was your message to the guys in the locker room?
Just before the game, you know, we talked about no excuses for anything. So no excuses tonight not to come home for this win.
Appreciate it. Good luck second half.
Thank you.
All right, Kevin Gleiser. North Davidson Black Knights down a touchdown, still right in this one. And we will be back on Friday Night Rivals after we step aside for this.
Well, welcome back for the start of this second half. In the student section, they're banging bodies on the way out of the locker room. I love it from North Davidson here at home. trailing by a touchdown in the home opener for the Black Knights. North Davidson, of course, they'll get the football to start this second half. How do the Black Knights find their offense? First drive, 1 touchdown, nothing to show for it since.
Well, we've seen a whole lot of a heavy dose of Xavion Hayes. The air tag has to be stronger here, but still utilize Hayes. Doesn't mean run him all the time, but play action. Allow that defense to creep up to the line of scrimmage and start going over the top of that football and converting those throws.
Interesting decision here for Davie County. It's tough, right, when you battle through injuries to try to figure things out. Tim Devericks will have to manufacture some offense. It might be in a different quarterback situation. We'll keep tabs on the health of Ty Miller and how he's floating into the second half, but you certainly wonder with the expectations and the hype of this crowd, it must be nice to play with a lead if you're Davie County. That's certainly a factor here on the road.
It's about finishing the game. We talked about some of the heartbreak they had the last 2 weeks. Find themselves in a position to win last week at West Rowan, then at Mooresville. You come back a little bit later, but just not able to finish each game and find a way to win.
And this is important because Gavin Hill, the quarterback for North Davidson, he's battling a strained calf going into halftime, so he's been on the sideline, stretching, getting loose. Without Hill possibly as the full option, that could change the whole dynamic with Christian White and others possibly playing quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to be a big thing that we're going to have to watch here. Of course, when you lose your starting quarterback, you got to think about what your backup plan is.
And there's the quarterback. He's talking it over with the offensive coordinator, Corey Reich. I think a decision's going to have to be made here in this second half. This is not an easy endeavor.
Kind of just depends on what the severity of that injury is. If you're talking about something that could potentially take place and affect the game long term.
So Palmer Williams to send this ball away to start the second half. And another nice touchback. It is worth equating to think that these kicks go to the college game. Well, you move back 5 yards to the 35 in the college ranks, but still a strong boot from the Baylor commit. So Dave Gorn reminding us that not only is that right calf strain, he's been limping on the sideline. He's trying to work his way through it. He's on the field right now at the quarterback position. There's no guarantees. See that right leg taped up pretty good.
No sleeve on that leg in the first half. Going to have to monitor that situation. Some of the mobility. Gavin Hill can move a little bit. We're going to see how that affects him here in the second half.
Only 18 yards passing. So Hayes gets a bulk of the second half work and immediately stonewall. That's 5 defenders in on the tackle. Okay, Mark, who do you want to give credit to on that tackle? I'm going to say Brian Argueta. I think Connor Hood also gets a half tackle there.
I'm just going to say a flock of War Eagles was able to make the play that time. Good job stringing that toss play out to the side.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's team defense. That'll make Blaine Nicholson, the 9th-year coordinator, a happy man.
Got to swarm to the football. Gang tackling is the way you do it. Get a big guy like Xavion Hayes on the ground.
And Davie County on defense, they've allowed 300 yards rushing per game. This has been a weak point of the War Eagles defense. And Hayes finds a seam. There's a good running start for the senior Hayes out to the 39.
Stopped right in the middle of the offensive line. Spotted a hole out to the right side and bounced it. Just got outside. You'll see it right here. Starts in the middle, comes back outside. And there was a massive hole for Hayes to run right through, and just like that, the sticks moved for the Black Knights.
18-yard gain for Hayes, and now North Davidson over 100 yards rushing with our Crescent Ford first down. Crescent Ford of High Point serving the Triad since 1970.
Could have driven a truck through that hole.
A Ford truck?
Maybe.
I see what you're doing there. So back to Hayes, who bounces off a tackle. He slips another at midfield, and Hayes to the 45. So he gains 16 yards, but put on 16 moves to do it.
Well, you know what? We talked about him being the critical point of this offense. He's going to be the main focus. You thought Davie County was going to dial in on him, but right now, these last 2 plays, he's had his way. Again, up the middle, patience, breaking some tackles, getting outside, the hand down on the turf for the balance, and finishing by falling forward.
3rd straight week of 100 yards rushing for Xavier Hayes. They call him X, and he's the X factor for this offense. A little miscommunication, so Hayes has to manufacture something. And I think a holding flag as well. That's a big loss for North Davidson here. Looked like the quarterback just wasn't on the same page, Hill and Hayes, that time.
Yeah, and you might want to chalk that holding penalty, as long as it is against the offense, definitely in the area. If it is, you might want to chalk that up to the exchange. You know, as an offensive lineman, you're expecting that to hit a certain spot at a certain time. Just not able to corral that exchange cleanly.
So, Mark, how does Gavin Hill battle this calf strain? He's struggling to go at full speed, and you can see him limping all over the field.
Lean on your running game. Xavier Hayes still has to be the guy. But when you're throwing the ball, play action passing. Allow the defense to focus on someone else. Give Gavin Hill a clean pocket to throw out of. It just changes the game plan a little bit. You might not have any bootlegs here in the second half, at least not nearly as many.
So Davie County brings 4 on this pass rush with the tight end Ethan Snyder in motion. He had 2 catches in the first half. Snyder's open here, and to the far side there's a first down. Back to the original line of scrimmage, in fact. So a big pitch and catch. That's Reed Nisley. 3rd catch of the night for Nisley.
The other thing to remember here, when he's throwing the football, Gavin Hill, he's throwing off that plant leg, and that's the one that's wrapped up right now. So how is he going to be able to step into the throws? You see right there, giving way. Footwork's still good.
And he put his stance a little wider that time, really trying to put the weight off his back foot.
And you can see after the play, still limping heavily. But as long as he's able to put enough force and pressure on that leg to get off accurate throws with good footwork, he's fine.
So Nisley gives it off to Hayes. Gets a nice block and is tripped up in the backfield. Aggressive tackle for Connor Hood, who's been everywhere tonight. And Ethan Sylvie also in on the stop.
Just a real heat-seeking missile play that time by Hood. Just coming down over the top and just following the play the whole way across the field, getting down to the line of scrimmage to make that play. It's not an easy play to get Hayes down in the open field. You'll see her just continues to track, and makes the play at the line of scrimmage.
It's going to be tough to qualify tackles tonight. There's been half tackles all over the field for Davie County. Wayne Nicholson, he told us this week his defense has to be a bend but don't break defense. Well, 1 touchdown allowed does the part, but it might be a touchdown here as wide open as Naylor. He's got the touchdown, and North Davidson strikes for 53 yards.
What a beautiful pass on the post route that time. Gavin Hill able to step in. Again, just give him a clean pocket to throw out of. He could deliver the football down the field that time. Great pocket, able to step in, and an easy pitch and catch. That time, Naylor, talk about atoning for the mistakes. Dropped a pick earlier, now picks up a touchdown with the potential to tie this one up.
First touchdown of the season for Naylor, and you mentioned it, a lot of opportunities tonight. That extra point ties us up at 14. Well, how about this? North Davidson at home comes back with the injured quarterback, and we'll take the timeout. Early in this 3rd quarter, 47 yards of beauty from the QB, Hill, to his wideout Naylor, and we got a tie game. 14 a pop, matching his number on a picture-perfect night. Carolina Classic Friday Night Rivals, we're all tied up in the 3rd. Stick with us here from Welcome, North Carolina. Closed captioning for tonight's game is being brought to you by Caring Hands. Caring Hands Home Health, hands-on, compassionate care, available around the clock. How about the caring hands of Alex Naylor? They've been both feast and famine. Drop pick, drop touchdown, and then he goes 47 yards to the house.
I mean, you just got to love the moxie right there by Gavin Hill. We talked about him having a strain in that calf.
See, I see what you did there, because he's from Mocksville, North Carolina, so he had a little moxie to it, and he catches the football.
Which is a super tough performance.
Okay, so all tied at 14. There's a short kick that's returnable and out to the 30-yard line. So Davie County with its best starting field position of the day. That was Tay Maddox, the backup running back, on the return. And clearly it looks like Gavin Hill, who threw that touchdown, he's found his confidence and his health with that right calf strain. Now can his counterpart, Ty Miller, do the same?
Get our first look at this Davie County offense that was able to move the ball late in the first half. See what they are planning here to start the second. Now the tied ball game.
Davie County in the first half, even number of yards, 66 on the ground, 68 through the air. And back on the ground, there's Maddox, his first touch. He gets 4 on first down. So Maddox only his 5th carry of the year. It was a Summers heavy load in the first half, a little mixing and matching here.
See if they can give Summers a little bit of a breather here.
Now Tay Maddox has got to get those pants to fit. He keeps pulling them up after every tackle. So Maddox slips through the hole. He loses his shorts for the moment. And I think he has the first down. Yep, there goes the shorts, but 11 yards on 2 carries. I think he needs a belt.
Maybe. I'd like to see how fast he would run at that point.
Well, remember Forrest Gump, he ran out of his shoes and his clothes as a kid. He broke his leg braces and became a perfect runner.
So it's a good omen.
Maybe the sign for Maddox, who churns for 3 hard yards after that Crescent Ford first down.
All that being said, smaller body, but he's running hard here. 3 carries for 13 yards, able to move the sticks on the first 2.
The junior had 4 total rushes in the first 2 games. How about this decision to go to the bench? Maddox comes in. There's a lot of confidence in the O coordinator, Matthew Gould. And now a swing route to Smith, who jukes one. Look at Brody Smith into North Davidson territory. He has the sideline, and Smith is gone. Touchdown, Brody Smith, his 2nd of the night.
Little bit of a different version of some of the stuff they did in the first half. A few of those bubble screens were really teed up for North Davidson defensively to get after it. This time the play action to Summers for the first time in the game in the second half. Throw it out to Smith. Makes a couple of moves, makes some guys miss, and uses the speed down the sideline to score 6, his 2nd tutty of the night.
Brody Smith atones for the drop touchdown earlier. Back-to-back catches for 6. And that extra point completes a nice drive. Coming up in the 4th quarter, stay tuned to find out who's tonight's Carolina Classic Fair Player of the Game. My guess so far, Brody Smith. I don't know about you, as he breaks this one open.
Sure making a case, right? I mean, the back end of that play was all individual effort. Brody Smith putting the team on his back here in the second half.
That's a 56-yard tutty for Brody Smith. He's been the big Brody tonight at the receiver position. And sometimes you need those seniors to step up. This is a wide receiving core that scored 34 points last week. They had a lot of offense, not as much early in this game.
I really think more importantly, when you look at how these touchdowns have been scored, both times that North Davidson has scored the ensuing drive, a big play touchdown has occurred for Davie County. So it's not just responding by scoring and putting points on the board, it's how you do it. And coming back and making those splash plays, the long plays for touchdowns, it's a different look from what we saw from Davie County in the first 2 weeks of the season.
Coming up in the 4th quarter, we'll have our Rowan Law play of the game. Rowan Law, Triad Attorneys, Rowan Law, who are here to help. Rowan Law. That E gets me every time. Rowan Law. So the boot away here towards the 5-yard line. Chance to return it for North Davidson. And out past the 20. So the injured cornerback who just slung a touchdown goes back to work. And his last drive, he was nearly perfect passing the ball, 3 of 4. And now Gavin Hill returns to work.
Including the long touchdown bomb to his receiver, Alex Naylor. Apparently that leg injury didn't hamper his ability to throw the football. Just kind of wondered if it would kind of affect that plant leg going back in his dropbacks, but all signs are good in that first drive.
3rd passing touchdown of the season for Gavin Hill, and he slung it 47 yards. And now the tailback Hayes looks to break a tackle, and he's spun down at the line. This is a good defense for Trayvon Doolin, the junior. Makes his first start and gets the tackle there.
Good play in space. Just got to worry sometimes when you have Hayes in the open field, he gets a full head of steam. Bringing him down is not easy. So an open field tackle like that, it has to be commended.
And how about this? All 3 defensive linemen are substitutes for the law firm of Barber, Caton, and Warner, taking a break on this rotation. So Hill slings it back to his target. That's a contested catch. Purvis was right in his face, and Simpson hung on.
Well, it's a really good job by Simpson to go back and get that football because it was thrown to his inside shoulder. Really a perfect throw to the outside shoulder at the sideline, away from the defender. Simpson had to go back and get that one, and not just catch it, but also hang on to it. The defender was right there. Good concentration by number 4 in orange, Peter Simpson.
We talked all week to Coach Gleiser about these receiving trios of Naylor and Nissler and Atkins, and he didn't mention Peter Simpson, but here he is with 3 catches tonight. He's been in big, important catches in this game.
And that's the thing. He's been a possession kind of receiver. That kind of role takes up that time in the offense. You got to get those tough yards. He's been the guy.
Here's your tough yards on 3rd and 2. That's a 5-yard gain for Xavier Hayes. So X is over 100 yards rushing for the 3rd straight week. How can he be a factor in this 3rd quarter?
Just keep feeding him. I mean, right there, that's big boy football. 3rd down. Everyone in this stadium knows what's coming. Xavier Hayes gets the football, plows forward for another 1st down.
He plows in a Crescent Ford 1st down. Crescent Ford of High Point, serving the Triad since 1970. It's a bit of history for the folks at home who are a little bit younger. Proud to have them as a presenting sponsor here for our Carolina Classic Fair Friday Night Rivals Game of the Week, presented by Roan Law. And what a nice scamper up the middle for Xavier Hayes. So here he is in the 2nd half, being featured heavily as a big-time tailback.
And it's one of the old adages, right? You got a big tailback. They love the game as it goes on more and more, longer and longer, because that defense, more hits, they get tired.
I think X is going to get more and more looks from FCS programs.
Yes.
Elon, NCNT have been initial conversations. He's playing really well tonight.
He seems like he's a pretty well-kept secret. I can't imagine that lasting a whole lot longer if he continues to perform as he has been. 1,500
yards last year as the top tailback. 3 100-yard games this year. And now a little play action for Hill, who looks to the near side and dropped by the tight end Snyder right through the wickets of the 6'5 target.
So Brody Smith dropped a pass in the end zone in the 1st half where it went right at his shoulder pad. And we said, don't catch with your body, catch with your hands. That time the hands were right there. Just couldn't secure that one. It would have been a huge play down the field.
Well, Shakira says your hips don't lie. That time your hands lied because Snyder couldn't hang on. The baseball commit to Campbell University right here.
It's a big body, 6'5", down the seam right there. Beautiful pass and a great play call that time. Snyder couldn't bring it in.
So let's go back to the bread and butter of Xavier Hayes as he churns for nearly 10 yards. He's just a half yard short, so 3rd and short upcoming. He gets 9 yards with ease every time he touches the football as he heads out for this play.
I mean, this is the only way that you're stopping him right now. He's just not on the field. Have him sub out. But even then, they've had success running the football when he hasn't been on the field. This is something this offense knows it can do well, and it's done it here tonight so far.
Davie County surrendered 300 yards rushing last week, and this is what North Davidson's leaning on. 3rd and 1. There's a 1st down and then some. And a nice shoestring tackle to save a touchdown. That's seen on the rush. And the stop for Eli Branham.
You think North Davidson smells blood in the water? There's been a handful of times that stat's been brought up in this broadcast so far, Evan. And there's a reason for it. It is the weak point of that Davie County defense, and right now they are running.
69 rushing yards in the 2nd half. Statisticians are on it today. They're kicking tail. Doing a great job, like Crescent Ford of High Point. Serving the Triads since 1970. North Davidson just gave up a touchdown 2 minutes ago. They look to respond late in the 3rd quarter. So Hayes goes off the left side. And Mark, that's 8 yards easy right up the right hash.
Before he really even got touched. I'm telling you, as this game goes on, that weakness for Davie County, unless they change something quick, it's going to show itself. This offensive line, this running game, they smell blood in the water. They know that they are taking control of this game from a physicality standpoint.
You know it's a human night. Running back starting to cramp on the sideline with Hayes looking for help. So Seen comes in. Coach, he said it's Samari Seen, and every time in practice we see him out there making plays. It's pretty fitting with his name. And here's Seen. He goes off the right tackle, gets a good block. There's a flag down. Seen tiptoes out of bounds near the 20. This might be coming back.
Right in the area of a hold.
Did the referee see what we saw?
He'd been Peter Simpson out there on the edge. And too much cloth, too much of that white jersey from Davie County.
It was kind of up ahead of the play, but there is a holding there.
See Simpson on the ground.
Penalties starting to add up for North Davidson tonight. They had 2 costly ones in the 1st half, and then a couple more in the 2nd half.
Yeah, drive killers. Any coach in America will tell you that it's just part of the part of the game that's mental, making sure that you have your technique right and you're not committing those fouls that back you up and get you off schedule.
So this turns things into a 2nd and 5 as we hit the 3-minute mark of this third quarter. And Scene is tackled from behind. That's a great play. John Stokes crashes in.
Impressive play by Stokes, coming all the way from the backside of that play, ran the whole way down the line of scrimmage to make that tackle before Scene could get going. It's an impressive play, coming down the line, screaming down the line, and making the sound tackle on Zamari Scene.
John Stokes with his 40th career tackle for the senior linebacker, lead the charge for his head coach, Tim Devericks. Devericks has a neat story with his long tenure at Davie County. He started working for the department in 2001. Here 20 years later, he now watches his defense look for a stop on 3rd down. You can tell really he'll struggle to move out of the pocket, and he throws it out of bounds.
Just makes a smart play there, though. There was no one down the field to throw to. Instead of forcing a football into coverage, but potentially ending up as a turnover, just throw the ball out of bounds, live to play another down, and kind of seems like the offense might be stuck in no man's land here around the 35, 34-yard line.
This is out of field goal range for North Davidson. What do you do here if you're the Black Knights?
I want to say give it to Hayes, but maybe not in the conventional sense. Maybe you throw it out to him so he can get into space, allow him to work in the open field. A swing route here for Hayes out of the backfield.
Here we go, 4th and 4. Back to Hayes. He's got a block, and he breaks the tackle for a 1st down. He needed 4, and he gets 5 to move the chains.
Well, they gave it to him in the conventional sense that time. Broke a tackle. Davie was there to make the play. But bringing down X in the open field is so hard to do. That time couldn't corral him, breaks 1 tackle, and gets up ahead just enough to pick up the 1st down.
Pick up the Crescent Ford 1st down. Nearly 80 yards of rushing in the 2nd half for North Davidson. The strained right calf for the quarterback, Gavin Hill. He's thrown a touchdown since and has handed it off to Hayes a ton in this 3rd quarter. I think Hayes wants a timeout. Let's see. He gets it granted. You almost wonder in the 3rd quarter, we'll talk about that when we come back, do you want to just take the penalty or the timeout? We'll take the timeout here in the booth. 7-point game late in the 3rd quarter.
It's the Carolina Classic Fair. Rocking, right, last stocking. Save up to 40% by purchasing your tickets today.
Pretty self-explanatory, but let's recognize tonight's Scream Dreams fan of the game. There's a new haunt in town. Scream Dreams is the Triad's only world-class indoor haunted attraction. I think this man's a whole different type of attraction that he's putting on his show as our fan of the game.
I'm going to keep it real with you. I'm glad they're a sponsor, but absolutely not for me.
Well, you can't always be scared, Mark. We'll get you through the tough times.
We'll see about that.
You got the Halloween uniforms for North Davidson tonight, the home team, down a touchdown. And Xavier Hayes goes back to work. He has been busy in this 2nd half. Dives forward for 7 yards. And that's 99 yards of rushing in this 2nd half.
He seems up to the task, though, doesn't he? The big-bodied back toting the rock here in the 2nd half. He has not just been the point of interest, the point of emphasis in this offense. He has been the offense. A long touchdown pass, sure, in the 2nd half, but Xavier Hayes has been exactly what his offense has needed.
Hayes' career high is 245 yards. That was against Central Davidson last year. Well, he's over 120 yards tonight. He may not get there, but he's putting on a display here on Friday Night Rivals.
Keeps the way it's going, he might get close.
That's just the way it is. As Hayes breaks the tackle, he looks for the end zone, jukes back inside, and he's just short of the sticks. How about that run for 19 yards?
Just showcasing it all that time. The vision to start in the middle and break outside following his blocks, and then the elusiveness in the open field. Stiff arms a man, jukes them out, and keeps those legs churning to get inside the 5-yard line. A spectacular play from the running back of North Davidson, Davie Hayes.
Well, he got past Purvis pretty easily, and then he went for the touchdown there. North Davidson looks to tie it in the closing minute of this third quarter. And Hill puts it in the belly of Hayes. It's been his drive the whole night, diving for a touchdown. Xavier Hayes has taken over tonight. 130 yards on the ground.
And maybe the toughest run of the night. Getting outside, there wasn't much there. So he tries to bounce, it gets there. There is a defender there for Davie County, but he's able to keep those legs moving and extend the ball just enough to cross the goal line.
You're not kidding about extending himself. Dove at the 2 last time. He gets in from 2 yards out this time.
For all that he's done here in the second half, you've got to reward him with a touchdown.
That extra point ties it here in the closing minute of the second quarter. Look at Xavier Hayes taking over in the third quarter.
That, ladies and gentlemen, is a grown man running the football right now.
Stay tuned. In the fourth quarter, we'll have our West Rock scoring summary. West Rock, your local leader in paper, packaging, and displays. Come join our team at jobs.westrock.com. I got one job for you. Keep feeding the ball to Xavier Hayes. He's taking over tonight.
It seems like a pretty simple game plan. A defense that has given up 300 yards rushing the last 2 weeks. That is the weak point of this team, that run defense of Davie County. And finally, that consistency that we saw in the first drive from North Davidson is back. But in that first drive, there was balance. They were throwing the football around, those short routes, attacking down the field through the air, had Xavier Hayes running the football. That time, it was almost entirely Hayes. The entire drive making up all those yards, churning out the yards, running down the clock. And we've got a tied football game yet again.
Churning out the clock with 120 yards rushing in this half as the squib kick is fair caught at the 30-yard line. So both teams have traded touchdowns late in this third quarter. What will be the difference in quarter number 4?
Can Davie County stop Xavier Hayes? They haven't done it here in the second half. And until they do, that's going to be the storyline, because that puts the onus almost completely on the offense.
Davie County offense that gives up, they score 30 a game, but surrender 40 a night. We could be in for a barn burner here in Welcome, North Carolina. As Markel Summers had trouble holding on to the football. Now it takes a couple of defenders to spin him down. Stop there by number 8, Reed Nisley.
A lot of the success that this defense had throughout the game for North Davidson's been stopping the run, minus that 67-yard run. There has been tough sledding for this offense of Davie County trying to run the football, and that's been a testament of what North Davidson has done defensively.
So we go to the final quarter, back and forth with touchdowns in the third frame. And the home squad, the Brutal Black, are fired up. The road team, Davie County, looks to pull off the upset away from home. We'll have a fun fourth quarter when we come back on our Friday Night Rivals Game of the Week, presented by Roan Law. Welcome back to the start of the fourth quarter. Davie County and North Davidson here for our Carolina Classic Fair Friday Night Rivals presented by Roan Law. And Davie County starts from its own 28-yard line as Miller escapes some pressure and he slings a baseball pass. It's a nice pitch and catch of 8. Good escape to find his target, Aiden Froelich.
Just a nice play on first down. Pick up a few yards.
Aiden Froelich, the older brother of the duo. Evan is the starting right tackle, 6'3", 230. His younger brother's 5'10", 180. Not sure who didn't eat enough at Thanksgiving dinner. As here's a run from Miller, who gets the first down. He's able to bounce off a couple of tackles to the 47. It's a nice 9-yard gain for the junior quarterback.
Most room we've seen Miller get here in a little bit. A few conservative runs have been sprinkled in throughout the night. But we know he has the athletic ability to bust one at any time. That time picks up a good chunk of yards and moves the sticks.
It's a Crescent Ford first down for Davie County. As I think we had some movement before the snap. Last week, Davie County had 9 penalties and another penalty. Especially in a tight game like this, those could be huge.
Yeah. Mentioned it a few times in the first half. Games like these can be won and lost on a few plays. Throughout the course of the game, you'll go back and find 2 or 3 plays that completely change the complexion of the game.
Think of the Davie County drop touchdown and then the missed field goal early tonight. That's a lot of points left on the board. Miller slings it middle and off the hands of his intended target, Evan York, who had 2 touchdowns last week in a loss to West Rowan.
Naylor was right there, and I'm wondering if he heard footsteps coming from Naylor that time. Good throw, gutsy throw, really right in between a trio of Black Knights defensively. Well thrown football, just got to be able to come down with that one if you're Evan York.
Miller has 2 touchdown passes tonight, both to Brody Smith. He's in the slot number 5. Oh, and jumping in front of Brody Smith. Interception, Reed Nestle. That's a nifty play from the senior.
What a beautiful read by Reed Nestle that time. Dropped right underneath. Saw Miller's eyes floating towards the right side of the field and read it perfectly and jumped the route underneath, made the play right in front of the intended receiver.
We talked about Brody Smith. I think Nestle heard what we were saying. That's a good pick.
Right there, just covered him up, tracked him, followed him, the quarterback's eyes, Miller's eyes the whole way across the field. Watched him and made a break on the football and then completes the play with the interception.
First and maybe costly interception for Davie.
And maybe more importantly, this defense is back out on the field after a long drive previously.
Wonder who's getting the ball here. It's Xavier Hayes as he bounces off one, and he's tracked down from behind by Jared Alexander. Nonetheless, though, Mark, tough assignment to slow down this running game for Coach Tim Devereux.
I mean, they've got to be up to the challenge here. Right now, it's such a close game. The way that this offense ran the ball in the third quarter, the Black Knights know what they're doing, and everyone in the stadium has to know what they're doing. They're running the football here.
Tim Devereux told us this week his defense has to force turnovers. They've gotten 1, and after 3 turnovers last week, they'll need a few more in this fourth quarter. I love the sound of Sweet Caroline in the fourth quarter early. The home crowd knows what's going on. It's feed the ball to Xavier Hayes. He's over 150 yards on the ground tonight.
He's been a monster here in the second half. The way he has run the football, and it just seems like he's not getting tired at all. That defense is wearing down. Xavier Hayes knows it, and maybe more importantly, the 5 guys up front know that too. They are dominating this front 7 of Davie County.
This front 5, senior, 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 and senior. It's a veteran group.
Absolutely.
All 5 started multiple games last year for North Davidson. And Hayes takes it himself on the pitch. Gets down to the 33-yard line. And a little pushing and shoving between both teams. That's sort of to be expected when you've been pounded by Hayes for 20 carries tonight.
Yeah. Trying to play that psychological game now, get into the head. You see Hayes respond by pointing for the first down right there. Good play call. Get him in space. You have a few yards to pick up to move the sticks.
Mark, he pointed for a Crescent Ford first down.
Yes, he did.
Let's be clear.
This offense is driving down the field right now.
A previous touchdown for Hayes. He got in from 3 yards out. Now he has taken over in this fourth quarter for the battling injuries to that right calf strain for Gavin Hill, but he's been a trooper over there. Oh, a fumbled snap, and now the footwork's tested as he falls on top of the football. Little loss in concentration there from Hill.
And that's not on an late flag.
Oh, is this a...
That's going to go on Gavin Hill.
Is it a personal foul?
No, it's going to be a delay of game.
Oh, my gosh.
Out of frustration, he took the football and launched it back towards the original line of scrimmage.
That's 15 costly yards after a 10-yard loss.
Right. Just out of frustration, he tossed that football after he recovered back down the field. Take a look here. You'll see it. Just the concentration, took his eyes off the football, trying to get it potentially to Hayes.
Yeah, he
see
clearly
right there.
chucked it.
Yep.
And the head referee said, no, you can't. Derek Isley, the umpire, was all over it.
1 or 2 plays.
Because in college, that's automatic 15 yards.
Yeah. So you're compounding that now, and it's, well, second and about Davie County.
Second and 41 for those keeping track at home. North Davidson has to get to the 23-yard line. The other 23-yard line, just to be clear. What a game-changing play. Davie County sends 5. They'll bring a blitz. Here's a screen. Hayes makes the catch with blockers in front.
Oh, man.
Look at Hayes get to midfield. And Hayes almost gets all of the 41 back on a big pitching catch.
Just get it to him. I mean, just get it into the hands of number 11 in orange right now, and he's going to do the rest of the work. First of all, perfect play call. Get those rushers to come up the field, give the screen set up. Gavin Hill mobile enough to get that ball out to Hayes, and he had a convoy in front of him. 2 of those senior linemen out front putting out blocks. And now third and very long still, but now manageable. And that's the biggest part.
It's a 24-yard gain for Xavier Hayes, who's done everything. Run the ball for nearly 150 yards, catch it for over 30 yards. He's been very involved.
Those seam routes have been very popular tonight for North Davidson.
Hill to throw, evades the pressure, now escapes, and he goes down. The sack for Trayvon Doolin, and that fumbled snap leads to a long second and forever, and now a 4th down stop.
So here's the part of that that makes a difference. You know they're throwing the football long down the field to get to that 1st down. You can drop back in coverage. You just got to sit there. Pressure gets home, and Hill had nowhere to go with that football as he hobbles back off to the sideline.
Reese is back to receive, and here's the punter for North Davidson, Alex Lozier. He's the kicker and the punter. Only his 2nd attempt tonight with the punt. And this could be a good one. Our camera grip almost had it there, but he keeps him inside the 20. So Davie County gets it stopped defensively. Now how do the War Eagles manufacture some offense on this drive?
Well, that's a good question. Really, when you look at where the yards have come from, it's got to start at the quarterback position. Ty Miller has to step up here and start making some plays. He has not done nearly enough here in the 2nd half. Just easy pitch and catches. We've seen them score. Brody Smith had that long touchdown in the last quarter just by getting the football in his hands and allowing him to go to work in space.
7 minutes to play in a tie game. North Davidson and Davie County. First meeting since 2019. And Markel Summers goes nowhere quickly. That's a body slam tackle. 91, Austin White on the stop. I will say those 9s look like 3s in the new Halloween uniforms for North Davidson, but there's White with his 3rd stop.
You kind of see the difference between what these defenses look like right now. North Davidson is a lot more fresh than Davie County.
Here's a blitz from North Davidson, forcing a dump off. And Summers in a gang tackle. Benson brings him down. Carter Benson has to replace the all-time great Tanner Jordan, who had 190 tackles last year. He stepped up nicely at that linebacker position.
And we saw Tanner Jordan last year, and he made some plays in our game against Oak Grove. Really fine player, big shoes to fill. It seems like they're up to the challenge. Benson with a nice stop there.
Hill on 3rd and 8. Plenty of time in the pocket. Looks for the sticks and has his man. Breaking loose is Brody Smith. It's a foot race. Brody, give him the trio of touchdowns and the go-ahead score for Davie County.
Big play, Brody Smith. Here in the 2nd half. That pass got to him in just enough time. It looked like Naylor was the one tracking him down the field. He just couldn't get there in enough time to stop Smith. And from there, it was all about the speed in the open field. Brody Smith, as much as we talked about Xavier Hayes in the second half, Brody Smith has had himself a second half to remember.
Brody Smith is a social media superstar with his deadlifting and his weight room performance. Well, 3 touchdowns might put him on social media for another reason. We have a whistle before this extra point attempt. And this looks to be on the defense, so they're checking with Davie County here. I mean, a yard here and there doesn't make much of a difference. Right. The extra point. Would you go for 2, all things considered? Need 1 yard to do it if you take the penalty.
But you're also going, I'm taking the extra point here, because you're going against an offense with 6 minutes left that has moved the ball in the second half, feeding their running back Hayes.
Brody has been pimping his defenders. 3 touchdowns. He had 5 entering this game in his career. It's a good night for Brody Smith.
Hat trick's not too bad.
And the extra point from Williams makes it a 7-point difference. How about this? Can North Davidson respond? We'll find out after this final break. Brody Smith breaks the game open with his 3rd touchdown of the night and a 7-point lead. Stick with us here on Friday Night Rivals presented by Roan Law. We have a barn burner. How about Brody Smith taking over this game? Touchdowns of 56 yards and 80 yards in this second half. He's been explosive. Tim Devereux said we needed big plays this week. Well, he found Brody Smith to do it.
They got him. They got him, and they've got themselves a playmaker on the outside. Brody Smith has had a sensational game here tonight and a second half to remember.
And give credit to this kicking game for Davie County. No chance for a return all night for North Davidson. So here's the question. Gavin Hill, his mobility has been a struggle for Coach Kevin Gleiser. That right calf strain. If he's forced to make plays out of the pocket, that's a tough challenge for North Davidson.
It sure is. The good news for them is their recipe for success in the second half is the guy that's been right behind him the entire way.
Xavier Hayes, over 100 yards rushing in this half. Nearly 150 in the game. He's been doing it all for North Davidson. And now he works to the left with his quarterback, Gavin Hill. This could be the final drive here for North Davidson. Down a touchdown at home. Trying to avoid an 0-3 start to the year. So on cue, Hayes churns forward for nearly 9 yards on first down. He's averaged 8 yards a carry today.
Just an all-around complete back from what we've seen here tonight. And still, even after some time to rest, this defense is gashed for 8 yards on the first play of the drive.
Give the ball to X and watch him work. That was the conversation all week from this coaching staff of North Davidson.
It's got to be the conversation for the rest of this drive.
He might be the homecoming king after tonight's performance. There's a first down conversion. It's a Crescent Ford first down. First home game of the year for North Davidson, and now they're tested. Down a touchdown. The defense has struggled in the second half, and can the offense bail them out?
Could be a defining moment in their season. 0-2 start. You're back at home for the first time. Heated rival in Davie County. Takes a late lead in this one. How do you respond?
Davie County wants to head into the bye week with a win, and that'd be clutch for the road squad tonight. As Hayes on the counter gets a couple of lead blockers. That's big hogs in the way. And then Hayes stiff arms a defender. He is past midfield. And that's a big run, 21 yards for the tailback.
That run had layers to it because you've got Xavion Hayes running the football with efficiency, but it's about those big guys getting around on pulls to the outside, staying on their blocks, and working their way down the field. So Hayes had a convoy almost the entire way.
As a former Catawba lineman, I can see you scintillating over there, talking about pulling guards and big holes for tailbacks.
I'm telling you. That right there.
Between that and the barbecue tonight, you haven't been more excited.
I'm still looking at that donut truck.
Seriously. Big rushing attack for North Davidson tonight. And your quarterback, Gavin Hill, staying out there and finding his new tailback. That's Seen, who was seen quickly going for 5 yards.
Nice little foot. Little juke move right there.
And we have Trayvon Doolin. He'll have to exit for a play with his helmet coming off. That's more defenders out for Davie County. Last week, Davie County allowed 320 yards rushing. Almost 200 yards now in this game for North Davidson.
And they seem to have no intentions of stopping now.
And why would you stop?
They have 5 seniors along the offensive line, all with size, and your backs are running the rock well.
And one with a ponytail to lead the rock. Here's Seen getting through a misdirection handoff. He breaks another tackle, and Seen gets all the way to the 31. He turned a good chunk of change out of nothing. That's 13 yards.
And really, that one should have been stopped in the backfield that time by Davie County. They had that one sniffed out. But when you talk about plays that show why you have a weakness on your team, that's one of them. I mean, Davie County has that play dead to rights in the backfield, and they can't make the tackle. Look, right there, Seen just gets by him. And that leads to a big gain. Those are plays that change the outcome of a game. This drive continues because of that.
Explosive running for North Davidson tonight. So Hayes gets his turn around a pulling guard. That's another first down. And in the second half alone, that's the 7th carry for 10 or more yards. But we do have a flag on the field.
And there may have been a reason for that.
Yep, so the holding brings it back. Okay, Mark, you got to start playing the clock now for North Davidson. 3.5 minutes to go, and you're backed up on a 1st and long now.
I'll be honest, the way they're running the football, I don't know if you do. This is one of the few times where we're running the football like this. You'd normally say, well, you got to start going to the air. Because even if it's an incomplete pass, it stops the clock. Yeah, but you're running the ball so well that you're getting chunks of yards all at once. I mean, even here, they're probably going to run the football to get some of those yards back. And if what we see in the second half still rings true on this next play, they're going to get a good amount of yards back.
So 1st and 19 officially. Long way to go for North Davidson. Down a touchdown. And Hayes will get a good chunk of that back. This is where the bend but don't break defense of Davie County would be huge in this 4th quarter.
Right, and this is the part where the mental part of the game and the techniques, everyone's tired on the field. Don't be wrong. Davie County's defense is tired, but some of those big guys up front, they've been run blocking, all here in the second half. They are worn down. So who's going to have the mental fortitude to hold their water, to have better techniques so you don't hold, so you don't get a face mask, those penalties, those back-breaking plays late in a football game.
2nd and 15 for Hill. He lets it fly towards the end zone and overshoots his target. He was looking for a receiver there, Nisley, but missed it.
Well, he missed Nisley, but Cameron Atkins was running along the North Davidson sideline wide open. And that's just a misplay that time by Gavin Hill.
I wonder how much that right calf strain's playing a factor.
Well, you can see he's even heavily limping. Every time he moves, he's not able to put his full pressure, obviously, on that calf. But you got to wonder how much pressure at all he can really put down on it.
Interim coach Kevin Gleiser in a tough spot. 3rd and 15 for his squad. Quarterback playing through a calf injury tonight. What could he manufacture? It's a running attack, and Hayes gets a good chunk of it. He looks for 15, and he's 3 yards short, so 4th and 3 upcoming.
Obviously, the offense is going to stay on the field here. For them, it could be the last play of the game.
Big decision here if you're North Davidson. How do you get these 3 yards?
I'm going to tell you right now, if you're not selling out for number 11 in orange, you're doing it wrong. That football is going right to Xavion Hayes.
Final 2 minutes in our Friday Night Rivals game of the week. It comes down to this last play. 4th and short for North Davidson. Here's Hayes, nowhere to go, and down he goes for a loss. Crashing in for the tackle for loss, Mason Shermer, and Davie County with the stop.
Sell out to get into the backfield, get pressure back there, and throw him off his track. The offensive line had nothing to do with that one. There were just more bodies in the backfield that could be blocked. Right there, guy stunts inside, across the tight end. Snyder just couldn't get on him too fast. Breaks that play up, and Davie County takes over. And a huge play.
Well, here's the dream scenario for Tim Devericks, an offense that's run the ball well with Markel Summers. They'll lose 2 on this first down. Now you got to play the timeout game if you're North Davidson. Remember, they used a timeout early in the half to save a penalty. That might cost them here.
So they're going to lose some of that time for sure.
Okay, Mark, when do you use the last timeout? We'll talk about that when we come back. 2 minutes to go in a 7-point game. Great night for high school football. They're in our Friday Night Rivals Game of the Week, presented by Rome Mall.
Their news for game highlights, no wait weather, and breaking news.
Closed captioning for tonight's game is being brought to you by Caring Hands. Caring Hands Home Health. Your family's needs are our top priority when they're in our care. Davie County wants to take care of the football and run out the clock with just under 2 minutes to play. Defensive stop by Mason Shermer, now with the football on 2nd and 11. Miller, the design run here. He breaks through 2 tackles, looking for the first down. He's right at the sticks. What a run by the junior quarterback.
First down ends it. Just like that, a powerful bruising run from the quarterback to stature.
And he gets the first down. Davie County is just wrapped up, barring an immaculate ending of their first win of the year.
Just a gutsy performance. Able to come into the home of your hated rival, North Davidson. Survive the rushing onslaught.
That's the biggest Crescent first down of the night. He barreled through 3 men.
For all the things that we said were going against Davie in this game, to perform the way they did here, fight that adversity, continue to fight back, punch for punch, and they're going to get the last one here tonight.
Tim Devericks going to work the clock and call the timeout when the play clock hits 0. So basically with a minute left, it's what, 2 snaps? And they just need to nail it down twice and win this game.
Just a really, really gutsy effort. You know, Coach Deverick is one of those guys that preaches this all the time. You got to find ways to win. Not everything's going to be pretty. You're not going to be super dominant all the time. But when you can find those ways to win, execute at a high enough level that you come away with a W, that's what it's all about at the end of the day.
We talked to Coach Deverick this week. He said a win before the bye week would be crucial for his football team. They could not stop the run the entire second half, but got the stop late to pick up the win.
Yeah. And that's them also responding by making big plays, right? They were to make those big plays down the field. Brody Smith, a big part of that here in the second half. 2 long touchdown receptions.
Of 56 and 80 yards for Brody Smith.
I mean,
clearly our player of the game, and there's Brody, who dropped the touchdown earlier tonight. They made up for it with 3 more.
Just an all-around great performance by Brody Smith and the rest of this offense. Again, it wasn't a clean win. It wasn't a pretty win, but it was a gutsy one. And I think when you're 0-2 and you're trying to find that first win, those are the hardest wins to come by. Right now, they can hit that reset button going into that bye week.
So
concentrate on going 1-0 every single week.
North Davidson will call its final timeout. Davie County will go on to win this game, and it was a game where North Davidson dominated for most of the contest, and yet Davie County with 3 explosive touchdowns of 50 or more yards. That's how they won this game, just 3 or 4 big plays.
Because it was those 3 or 4 plays every single game. You talk about how are they going to impact the outcome of the game? How are they going to change the scenery of what's going on? That's exactly it. Those splash plays, the long run, Brody Smith making the 2 long catches, the touchdown catch before halftime to capture momentum that way.
And the celebration is on for the Davie County student section. They can feel that first win. A little 15-mile journey up from Davie County High School here to North Davidson, and welcome North Carolina. It's been a warm welcome for the War Eagles tonight.
Honestly, when we walked in here tonight, I've seen few grass fields at the high school level that have looked this good. And give that to athletic director here at North Davidson, Mark Hayes.
I want to thank both programs for their help this week, setting us up with interviews and introducing us to their home here in welcome North Carolina. Davie County will get its first win, which is the most important factor. And North Davidson, in its home opener, played really well, but was 1 drive short. Got stopped in this side of the field, and now the road squad knows it's time to celebrate one more snap to wrap up this opening win.
Hard-fought victory for the Davie County War Eagles. And they'll finally get that much sought-after first W of the season, finally in the win column in 2022.
Davie County head coach Tim Devericks told us this week, our team needs to win for momentum, for confidence, and to head to the bye week feeling better about themselves. Mission accomplished on the road. A 7-point win for the Davie County War Eagles, heading into North Davidson for their first win of the season in a 7-point thriller to the end.
Just an excellent effort for both teams, really. A great game the whole way around. When you talk about the best rivalries in the state, this one is definitely up there. And another classic performance by both teams tonight.
We'll take the timeout, come back with the winning interview as Davie County secures a 7-point win. What a ball game tonight for our Friday Night Rivals Game of the Week, presented by Roan Law.
We are back on Friday Night Rivals. Davie County, a big 28-21 win over North Davidson. That's 2 road wins on 2 weeks of Friday Night Rivals. Tim Devericks, head coach. big plays, and I think one of the things I love about sports, there's always time for redemption, right? Sure. Brody dropped the pass in the end zone first quarter, and then 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, we talked a lot today about competitive excellence and being able to withstand that for 4 quarters. And there were some ups and there were some downs, as you alluded to, and our guys were able to persevere tonight.
When we talked at halftime, offense makes the big plays, gets all the attention. Defense ends up winning it on that 4th down.
Played their tails off. I think we had 2 4th down stops tonight, which were huge in our own territory. So hats off to those guys.
Well, congratulations. When you win on Friday Night Rivals, you get a trophy. And here it is, guys. Davie County, congratulations.
Oh my goodness, look at that celebration. Davie County comes on the road, and you don't want to just say one player won you a ball game, but Brody Smith, the wide receiver and defensive back, he took over in this game offensively.
Well, sure, it wasn't the only reason they won, but he was a major reason, if not the major reason, that they won. Brody Smith in the second half was the spark plug that this offense needed, creating 2 highlight plays for big yardage and even bigger touchdowns. Brody Smith, Carolina Classic Fair Player of the Game.
Riding, rocking livestock, and 3 touchdowns, and the rule of thirds is great for Brody Smith tonight. It's a happy head coach, Tim Deverick's working with the win because he had his great player and then the great plays of the night. And of course, it starts with ground and pound, and then you go through the air and stretch this game open.
Yeah, absolutely. Just the way that they were able to go over the top here. And again, we just said it, Brody Smith creating space in the secondary, running a crisp route, finding himself open, and then finishing the play off with the catch, run, and score.
That's an 80-yard touchdown. Let's break down how the scoring went on in this night, because it wasn't just a dominant start. North Davidson ran the ball early. Davie County came back with a touchdown. But, Mark, look at this second half. Back and forth trading touchdowns. Maybe the biggest play of the game, touchdown late by Smith. We saw it a moment ago, and that gave them the lead.
Kind of see the consistency across the board there, right? A touchdown for every quarter for Davie County. Just too much to overcome for an offense in North Davidson that ran the ball probably as effectively as you'll ever see at the high school level. Just too little, too late, and could not convert the crucial 4th down to keep their drive and their hopes of their first win alive.
Well, we'd like to take a moment and thank all of our sponsors who made this game possible tonight. We'd also like to thank Capital Metals in High Point for providing the plaques you saw tonight and the trophy in tonight's game. Cook's Rentals for the high end zone views, and a mountain fried chicken for the pregame meal. I know Mark loved it. I did too. And finally, thanks to tonight's participating high schools and their administrators for their support of our Carolina Classic Fair Friday Night Rivals broadcast. Next game next Friday night, 7:30, September 9th, at the Reedsville Rams, one of the championship programs of the state, host the Eagles of Eastern Alamance right here on My48 Sports. For Mark Covert, Lori Bates, and our hardworking crew, I'm Evan Budrovich saying good night from Welcome, North Carolina. From welcome to goodbye, we hope you have a great night. The win for the road squad, Davie County, is 7-point battle in a back-and-forth affair. This is Friday Night Rivals Carolina Classic Fair, presented by Roan Law. We had a thriller, and Davie County pulls it out by a touchdown.